Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope this finds you doing well on a lawn maintenance Tuesday, the start of college basketball season. Florida State, Florida tonight, 9 p.m. Jeff Cameron Show gives way today in the 5 o'clock hour to something we're going to do infrequently, but we'll do it when the opportunity arises, and today is one of those days. Tallahassee Game Day Court Report. It's me and Tom again. It's more of us, but we'll shift gears and go straight basketball in that final hour today, and we'll do it throughout the course of the season for select scheduled games that we think deem it, are worthy of it. For example, we'll do it again, I know for a fact, on November the 28th when the Noles take on Purdue in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and I look forward to that. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. If you miss any portion of the show and you want to go back and get caught up on that audio, remember you can find it in the app, on the WTSM app, which is a free app. You can also find it online on iTunes, and you can find it on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com.
And the Tallahassee Game Day Court Report edition of the program does not preempt Seminole Headlines. That is scheduled for Thursday this week. That was already part of the plan.
Yeah, now, Seminole Headlines will get recorded tomorrow, but we are using it for our travel day to Chicago. We wanted to give you fresh content, so you'll get that on Thursday. The Seminole Headlines will run on Thursday instead of its normal time, although its normal time is somewhat flexible anyhow. It will run on Thursday because we'll be on a plane. And then we'll be getting set up in our digs and then heading over to ESPN Chicago and making sure that all of our equipment is set up properly and that we are welcomed properly. The folks in Chicago got to get it together. Got to make sure we're welcomed properly. And I look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will, I hesitate to say endure the cold, but we will deal with the cold and endure the ass-kicking for you. For you. You can live vicariously through us as we are there having a good time, and then, kickoff happens. So, hey, that's all right. It's about the experience, damn it.
And what you can do to enjoy a heated experience is go to GameDayExcursions.com and get a tailgate-only pass if you already are all set up to get to South Bend, and there's a different code, sir. The new code is JCS Tailgate, all one word.
JCS Tailgate.
There you go. Get $5 off your tailgate-only pass, since that's cheaper, of course, than the bus fare and the tailgate. Yeah.
Well, listen, if you want to make it about the journey, which is what this season is, it's about the journey. It's up to us. The outcome we crave cannot be the way for you on Saturdays this year. Nope. It's the journey and the rebuild. That's what you do. You embrace that. And there's still time with GameDayExcursions.com. There you go. Anyhow, I like that Tom is forever the salesman there. He got that worked in well right there in the outset.
Well, I mean, it is 8,000 square feet of heated tent space.
Well done again.
You'll need that on Saturday.
JCS at 979 ESPNradio.com is the email address. On Twitter, it's at JCameronShow. So, what do we do here? I got to be careful how I word this. Here's DeAndre Francois today talking about this being his job.
Coach Taggart said he's going to just kind of see how this week goes and evaluate how both you guys are doing. Has he said anything to you guys, or do you feel like you guys are kind of competing again, or how do you approach this week?
I'm still the number one guy. Coach Taggart continues to make that clear. James understands that, but James is always ready to go. If anything happens to me, God forbid, we got a guy who can go in there and throw for 400 on any given day. So it's just nice to have two guys who can go in there and play. It's a great situation for both of us.
That audio compliments of warchant.com. The person asking the question, of course, was the great Ira Schafel. Here's what I don't like. That's insincere, what he just said, because on Instagram, his Instagram account, he tweeted out, he posted that everybody wants your job until they find out what it takes to do your job. And this is a guy that has shown himself to be a poor teammate in the past, to be selfish. He's also said at one point that he was there for every one of James's starts last year. No, he wasn't. He was in Orlando Snapchatting with a guy who got kicked off the team. No. And this is just more of who he is. And I know it frustrates the hell out of fans. By the way, the exact Instagram post was, everybody want to take your spot, comma, until they find out what it takes to play your position. 100, whatever the hell that is. So it's just, look, man, that guy tried. He's just never going to be a good teammate. And I don't think he gives you a better chance to win. But let me say this, because I don't know what's behind the decision here. It does look like he took first-team reps today, that DeAndre Francois is going to start this Saturday and not James Blackman. I think that's real. I think that's going to happen.
Do you think Willie made it clear to them? Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think that's true. That's ego talking. But here's what I think. I think a lot of things, some of which would be pure speculation. Who knows? Look, first of all, the kid has a say in this. Not DeAndre, but James. James has played in the requisite 4 games now. If you play in one more, you cannot redshirt. If he would like to redshirt during a lost season and keep an extra year of eligibility, it could very well be that the sit-down has occurred already and he's expressed, along with his parents perhaps, that they not play. There's not what's left. What's left that's out there. Now, I can argue there's an awful lot to be gained by playing. I would argue that you would want to further separate yourself from the incoming freshman quarterback and how. And that reps would allow you to do that. That playing in this offense as the starter would allow you to gain invaluable experience that thus would then let you compete and win the job this upcoming offseason in the face of a formidable competition. That would allow for that. But you could counter with, behind this offensive line, Jeff, I hear you. I got you. I understand. I also understand, and this is not what's happening, but hear me out. If I'm Willie Taggart, the season's a wash, okay? We're not going to beat Notre Dame. It is going to be bitterly cold. This is a top 15 defense, top 25 offense, at home at night with a spot in the college football playoff on the line. You're going to get their attention. They're going to play well. They're going to beat your ass. And that means in bitter weather, our quarterback, who is on the regular taking a beating, is going to indeed take a beating. And who's better equipped to take a beating than the guy that put on the weight in the offseason and is steady accustomed to taking said ass kicking? DeAndre Francois, who you have no use for after this year. And James Blackman weighs $105. Why don't we take it on back home, James, where the weather is much more conducive to winning football games? In fact, the 2 teams that we play the remainder of the year, let's just assume he's not redshirting, are teams that are beatable right here in our own backyard to become bowl eligible. This is not a winnable game no matter who starts at quarterback. Let the guy you don't like and the guy that's better equipped to handle it from a physical standpoint go out and take that ass kicking for you and then come on back home in the warm weather here in Tallahassee. And after said sorry performance, you have the gateway to announce James Blackman will be the starter for the rest of the year. That's one way of doing it. It might be cold, calculated, and ruthless. It may not have a kid's best interest in mind. Well, certainly not the kid taking the beating. But, hey, it's an angle. It's something I'd consider, especially since I don't like the kid.
Well, rest assured that both kids will take a beating because we have to play a football game those last 2 weeks. And there are opponents, and they have pulses, which means there will be quarterback hits.
Yeah, less so when not playing Notre Dame. I think that you have an opportunity to block it up enough to compete and maybe win against both BC and Florida, not Notre Dame. And here's the thing. I say I don't like the kids. I don't like the teammate that DeAndre Francois reveals himself to be. I don't know DeAndre personally enough to say I don't like him. I have an opinion of what that would go like, and I've interviewed him before and all of that, but I don't know that guy, just like I don't know a lot of those guys, right? We don't really know him. We're not hanging out with him on a day-to-day basis, but, man, that guy reveals a level of selfishness that is hard to take a liking to. I'll just say that.
If, in fact, he's telling a falsehood today, that Willie didn't make it clear. But maybe Willie did. Maybe DeAndre spilled the beans.
Doesn't matter. Even if he did, A, that's a jerk move to spill the beans there when your coach just got done announcing to the free world that it was going to be a competition for the rest of the week. 2, why are you putting that on Instagram? What, are you trying to shame somebody? What, are you belittling James? You don't think James competed and wants to play the position, isn't tough enough to do it? I mean, how many times are you going to do that now? How many times are you going to second-guess teammates and people that you play alongside that have been nothing but loyal and great to you? And, oh, by the way, James played great. Relative to what we are on that offensive line and what we can't do in the run game, He's just the ACC quarterback of the week, throwing for 421 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he gave you a fighting chance because he could actually move out of the way.
Yeah, the hard part here is that Willie does not speak. At least he's not scheduled to.
He does tomorrow. Thursday.
Well, he has a conference call tomorrow. So I guess he could address it on the conference call tomorrow.
Well, he'll probably be asked about it, but he also speaks Thursday morning.
Right.
So that will be a very interesting conversation.
I think the conference call might be something that's interesting tomorrow. I'd forgotten about that. I was going to say Thursday, yes. But if he has the weekly somebody from the local media is going to ask him to comment on that. He has to know that's coming. And I wonder how that went. Maybe he didn't know till after practice or during practice what the hell just happened. But you created a controversy where there was none. There was only a question. There's a difference between a question and a controversy. Everybody was believing that James Blackman was likely going to be the quarterback moving forward. Now, you want to bring the redshirt part of it into question? Yes, he hit his 4 games. And it sucks. If you actually were intending for James Blackman to redshirt.
Well, hold on. Let's go piece by piece here. Let me answer this. Okay. What we have to account for, and I don't know how this works really, and I think it's probably different at different programs. James, as you noted, has been a loyal soldier, right? Great kid. Everybody loves that kid, plays hard for that kid. He wants to be here. He loves Florida State football, loves his teammates, is committed. A guy like that is going to help you build the culture. He's going to help you create the kind of locker room that you want to create. He's part of the solution, not the problem. So the thought of maybe keeping him around for an extra year and not getting him, processing him out of here, actually might appeal to a coach who sees a locker room that's fragile and in need of revamping. So when you say, not you, but people ask, well, what are we doing redshirting him? Are you going to keep him here for another 3? He's got 2 more years of eligibility. Why are we redshirting him? You want him here for 3 years? Maybe. Maybe DeAndre's not coming back next year, and you know it, and he knows it, the whole world knows it, and you want a legitimate quarterback competition with a kid that if he doesn't win that competition, will still be a great teammate and still be part of the problem, the solution moving forward. So you allow for him to compete in this offense along with Howell next year by bringing him back and creating some depth on the roster that you like and some areas in the locker room that you approve of as well. I know it sounds strange, but maybe that's a bit of a mindset. And then you got to factor in, I don't know the situation, whether or not he or his parents or somebody expressed to Willie, what if, he could always want to transfer too, and you don't want to burn that year of eligibility. So there's all of that.
Well, there's a lot of play there, of course, yes, but my question would be, why would you put him in the Wake game where you could put in your walk-on at
Absolutely
that point? Because you're
question.
using one of your 4, if that is something that you actually want to do. And I don't know that that's their intent.
I don't know if that's their intent either, and I don't know if it was, their intent earlier. Maybe they reach this point and they're like, look, lost season. What are we doing here, to be honest with you? We're going to go up here and get our ass kicked anyhow.
Miami game can't be helped. You're in plus territory. You got to come in for an injury, and so you don't know. Maybe he plays the rest of the year, and at that point it's worth it to burn the shirt.
Yeah.
Sure. But I would also think moving forward, if let's just say Howell won the job. Let's just say he won the job next year as a true freshman. He runs the offense much better. Mm-hmm. Well, you could still redshirt him next year. The 4-game rule doesn't magically go away for your junior or senior season.
Yeah.
It can happen at any time.
But at that, I think at that point he might. That'd be 2 years you're sitting the bench after starting for a full season.
Well, what are we doing anyway? By the time he's in his final year of eligibility, which if he redshirts this year would be 2021, is that right? So are you thinking that he's going to be the starter over Howell, who would be a junior at that point, or a redshirt sophomore?
No, but a really experienced and reliable backup and a great attitude in the locker room, as I said.
I get the attitude in the locker room.
And I think it's a big deal. I do. When you're that fragile and you're trying to turn your program around, you need more guys like that. He says it around every turn. He wishes his whole team was James Blackman.
So what are you doing then? You're just playing gamesmanship for Notre Dame? You know what I mean? Let's just say DeAndre gets hurt. Wait a minute. What if DeAndre gets hurt in the first quarter? What if he's a chalk outline?
Well, now you're screwed.
So what do? You put Blackman in and there goes his shirt?
Oh, yeah.
So what's the difference?
But now you play him the rest of the year.
What are the odds that DeAndre can play the final 3 games without having to come out for a play or 2?
I don't know, but I'll let him go take that ass beating in a game we can't win anyhow in the freezing cold.
I think you play one. That's just me. I think you move forward with this kid. You have 3 opportunities between now and the end of the season to uplift the current roster.
I
don't
talk about disagree.
Team building.
I would play James Blackman the rest of the way. I would not have considered playing DeAndre Francois moving forward, but I also am not in that room when the parent comes in and says, I don't want my son playing the rest of the year. It's a lost season. This offensive line is a risk to his health.
Is that what happened?
No, I don't know, but I'm saying there are a lot of things we don't know. We don't know what went into the decision. I'm saying that can be part of it.
All right.
I mean, I am not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that these are the kinds of conversations the kid has to say. The kid has a say in this.
They do, but I would hope then, if that is the plan, to argue that point. I don't know that that's true, but let's argue that point. If it were true that the priority now is to redshirt James Blackman, which means DeAndre will play the next 3 games. He's your starter for the next 3 games. That would be okay. I would hope that plan just came about now.
Yeah.
Because if it was for the whole season, then the Wake thing makes no sense and the Clemson thing makes no sense because you put him in the last minute anyway.
No, I don't think this was calculated. I think this has been a recent development if, in fact, that's what happened. Now, again, we're speculating. Sports Talk Radio, I get it. Some of that is just frivolous conjecture. It's fun to do. It's what we do. But I would also say that that cynical approach that I had, there's some logic in that. I mean, it is going to be bitterly cold. He does weigh $105. We can't block Notre Dame. I don't care about DeAndre's future. I'm just telling you.
I wouldn't like that, though, because Willie is about being transparent. I think that's going against at least what he purports himself to be.
You could never come out and say, I'm here to screw this other kid because I don't think he's a good teammate and I'm protecting this one. You can't say that publicly.
Right, but what I'm saying is Willie is transparent. That's what people like about him. You know what I mean? So I would rather him just say, I don't trust this kid, so let's go ahead with Blackman or something. You know what I mean? Rather than concoct this plan where you're going to get 12 killed, he's going to play a bad game. And, well, now, I mean, obviously he's terrible. It's a road game against Notre Dame. Objectively, James could play this game this weekend and suck too.
He probably would. I don't think he would be appreciably better this weekend because Notre Dame's that much better than we are. So why not have the kid whose future you don't care about go out and get killed? I'm just saying that's me.
I don't think Willie's about that life. And if he is, then he's more cold than I give him credit for.
He's probably not. But if he is like that, bravo.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
It's Nissan's way of helping our neighbors, and Kraft Nissan will put an additional $1,000 on all trades. But my main message today is to do what you can do to continue helping, whether your time or your treasure. This is going to be a long process, but I promise you, Kraft Nissan will continue to help until the job is done.
You know what? It's time you level up your lemon lime with new, clear, refreshing Mountain Dew Ice. Why settle for this when you could have this? You want a fist bump that ends in one of those fake explosions?
Hey, Charles.
Or a fist bump that ends in an actual explosion?
Hey, Charles.
Want to pull up to the party on this? Or arrive in this? Make this musical request? Or this one? So yeah, you can keep drinking the same old, but we think you'll like the exploding fist bump, showing up to the party properly way to lemon lime, right? Mountain Dew Ice. Clear, refreshing lemon lime, redefined.
Save on unlimited rides and admission to the 2018 North Florida Fair, November 8th through 18th. $15 Super Saver Pass, good for Thursday, November 8th or Tuesday, November 13th. $25 VIP Pass, good for any day. On sale now at RCD Shell Stations or NorthFloridaFair.com.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
It's here. Kohl's lowest prices of the season. Prices so low, no coupons needed. Women's tees just $4.99. Men's polos just $8.99. Kids jumping beans tops and bottoms just $6. The big one bath towel is only $2.99. And select kitchen electrics are just $4.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus get Kohl's Cash. $10 for every $50 spent. And Yes to You members earn double points. Right now at Kohl's. Select styles. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Escúchame, y dice Dan Le Batard on ESPN Radio.
Should Stephen A. Smith find it disrespectful that Stugotz put his feet up on his desk? 75% of the audience said yes.
Stugotz has a delusional confidence. I was stunned to hear him say, basically, I don't want any part of those Stephen A. problems. Like, I don't view you or your army as scared of anybody.
I don't know if it's scared. Yeah, I'm scared. I have such respect for him, and I think he's the one talent there that can actually get me fired if he truly wanted it.
I think I also have that power.
Yeah, you do. But I love you, man. And I would never sit in your office on your chair and put my feet up on your desk.
I don't have an office. I don't have an office. I've got a toilet where you just leave toilet paper all the time. I've got a bathroom. That's my office, and you leave chicken wings on the floor and toilet paper on the counter.
Multitask.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Going to South Bend, but not sure what to do with your game day? GameDayExcursions.com has you covered. A fully catered VIP tailgate full of Noel fans that includes free beer. It's all steps away from the stadium. GameDayExcursions.com. Use promo code JCS.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jay Cameron Show, one-word response if DeAndre Francois is the Week 1 starter in 2019. No. The only way that I believe that could happen is if somehow internally they believe that the mobility that's currently lacking for DeAndre Francois, that is not a part of this offense because he can't move, is returning further removed from the injury. Maybe. But he hasn't shown any indication that he can read the unblocked defender that he has to read. So I just don't think he's the guy. I mean, I think DeAndre could go somewhere if he's in line to graduate and play right away and help somebody. I do. I think he could help somebody. I think if he went to like the MAC or something, he would be a good quarterback. He would, I think he could have success there.
James's 400-yard performance was against one of the worst secondaries we'll see all season long, and it was trending that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have had more if not for
penalties.
A penalty, yeah, two of them. One being on NC State for tugging Tamorrion Terry down the right-hand sideline when he's open for a touchdown, and then the Alec Eberle play, where we bring back a ball that goes inside the 2-yard line. So, I mean, he could have thrown for a little bit more in non-garbage time if you don't count big deficits as garbage time.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that perhaps the wrong decision was made to believe in and go with DeAndre Francois, or is that an unfair question at this point?
Yeah, well, it's unfair for me to answer it with any certainty because I don't know. We didn't get to see the day-to-day competition beyond the first week, and so I can't know that. I'm going to trust that Walt Bell and Willie Taggart collaborated enough to have the conversation about what they thought would be the right decision there, and I'm going to trust that they saw one guy play more consistently than the other. I think it's probably true just on the week that we saw, but I also don't think they realized, because it's different to do it in practice, obviously, than it is a game. And they might not have known early on that, hey, A, this line's going to be this bad, B, that it's going to be this injury-riddled, and that they're not going to have any consistency there. And that, C, DeAndre in-game is really going to struggle with the speed trying to make these decisions. And so, that's all stuff that maybe they found out as time went on, and by then they realized the offensive line was such a sieve, it might not be worthwhile to make a change.
Well, and he's a good passer. I don't want to lose sight of that. And if, let's just say, James started 2 games in a row and it was Notre Dame followed by NC State rather than the way it is, NC State, Notre Dame, we wouldn't be asking this question because Notre Dame's defense would do what we expect it to do, which is dominate us. So you're probably not talking about a controversy. I just wonder, beyond the zone read stuff, if DeAndre is, in fact, not telling the truth about what Willie indicated to the quarterbacks this week, which is that DeAndre Francois is still the guy. That's what number 12 claimed today. If that's not true, then have you been let down by a guy that you trusted, a guy that you worked with all in the offseason? Because to me, I think up to this morning, DeAndre did about as good a job as you could to try to invest in being a good teammate. He was involved even this past weekend on the sideline, talking with James Blackman, counseling him. He looked to be more of a vocal leader, which is not in his personality type or style. I thought he did everything he could to say yesterday, which we did. It's not that he hasn't tried. He's tried to be a much better teammate. But today seems like a deviation. And if, in fact, Willie Taggart says tomorrow on a conference call or Thursday before the assembled local media, and I don't know where he got that from because this is an open competition, well, then, damn it, man, you just failed the head coach.
Yeah, I don't think it's an open competition, and I still think he could have failed the head coach regardless because I doubt that's the way he wanted his quarterback to handle it given what he said a day earlier. My guess is that he probably has indicated to DeAndre that he's going to start, and thus that was revealed in today's practice when DeAndre got first-team reps right off the bat. And I think...
So you think Willie did tell him that he's the number 1 guy?
I think that... I think he may have indicated that hasn't changed. I don't know how it was said, but I doubt he wanted DeAndre to immediately turn around and tell the press in the manner that he told the press. Well, James is standing right there, by the way. I mean, the whole thing is just typical DeAndre. But that said, I would love to be a fly on the wall. We're not going to find out what went into this decision, and they are based on what we were just talking about a moment ago. I think a lot of different paths here to cross as to how we arrived at this place. I believe that something off the field, and I don't mean about a player getting in trouble. I just think there's been a different kind of conversation as opposed to I'm evaluating the tape against NC State and then making a decision based on that tape. I think there's a lot of other stuff going on here. I don't know what all of it is and what it entails, and, I've got an opinion on it. Everybody does. But I think that if they were just going by the performance in the game against NC State, then it's likely James Blackman would start. So it has to be something else, and I don't know what that is. It could be they want to redshirt him. Could be that the kid wants to be redshirted and has expressed that. And now what are you going to say to your team? What are you going to say to your fans? I'm giving up on the season. I'm going to redshirt this kid, so we're going to go with DeAndre because what's the difference anyhow?
I have a really hard time with that because if he didn't want to be redshirted, you could say that his performance and the way he leads the team has warranted that he starts the rest of the season, right? Like DeAndre can say what he wants, he can do what he wants. If he wants to leave the program, that's fine.
Yeah,
but you could argue that the way. Well, I mean, listen, if you're going to redshirt him, then you might as well after this weekend announce that the walk-on's the backup. Because if DeAndre gets hurt, I don't want to see James Blackman in here if he wants to redshirt. Then nobody's happy. He's playing against his will. And he has to play in an emergency circumstance that we tried to avoid, and you've undercut the whole damn thing.
I thought at the beginning this morning when I heard DeAndre's comments that maybe something else was going on here again. You don't want to publicly humiliate anybody on either side, so you don't want to embarrass the kid, meaning DeAndre. So maybe he loses his job to James Blackman, but you're not going to announce to the world that the guy that started all this time is now the backup, and you just say, or you hide behind concussion protocol or competition or whatever it might be, and by week's end you're able to say, well, we're just not sure that DeAndre is all the way back to where he needs to be from a health standpoint between the concussion and the ribs. And so James is going to get another start this weekend, and then we'll continue to evaluate moving forward. And that way you let the kid save face. The season's almost over at that point. You still have him locked in to be the backup in the remaining 2 games in case something happens to Blackman, if that were the choice. You know what I'm saying?
He'd be willing to come in and burn the shirt at that point. Why don't you just start? I mean, I don't get that. I don't get that mentality. You got 3 games to go, and the way our offensive line blocks, chances are you're going to have to come in for at least a snap. Unless you're the way they do it, or they used to do it in the NFL when they carry 3. You're an emergency quarterback.
Yeah, no.
So you're on the headset all damn day, and the walk-on's the backup.
No, I don't know what the initial plan was or how they arrived at this. So it doesn't do us any good. I mean, we don't know.
It's just really disappointing to me. I get it. Eligibility is precious, especially if you do not have an NFL future. I'm not saying that James doesn't. He needs to put on a lot of weight, and that arm is pretty talented. And, there's a lot of development to go.
Yeah, but let's say he doesn't, and, he wants to play and have an opportunity to start big-time college football.
But you're going to make that decision in November? Because if it was the plan of the coaching staff to do so the entire season, that makes no sense.
No, I don't think it was. I think this is a recent development. I bet you they seriously lament having him come in and mop up time against Wake. I mean, that was a mistake.
You'd still need another one, though.
But you would still need another one, and that's
so you wouldn't have brought him in against Clemson either, if you had known.
Probably not. No.
I mean, we waited forever and a day to get him in anyway. It made no sense how long 12 was in the game.
No, it didn't.
I almost thought they were trying to shirt him for how long 12 was playing in the second half.
I don't disagree with that. Now, the Miami game is like we said. There was nothing you could do about that. Emergency situation, plus field position, the whole deal.
You're winning the game.
You're winning the game. You're trying to get So I think that you give him a pass for that. But the Wake and Clemson decisions make no sense if the plan was always to redshirt him, which is why I don't think that was always the plan. That's why I think it's a recent development. I think it's that DeAndre's healthy enough to play this weekend. They don't really feel like, I mean, they're not going to say this, but, I don't think they're going to beat Notre Dame. And I don't So
I just don't. Okay, so the next 2 years.
Well, let's just say this, though. Hold on. Let me be fair here. We both agree that even if James started here, you're not winning this game. He isn't going to be appreciably better than DeAndre Francois is going to be this weekend.
Yeah, but I have a hard time when we're trying to talk about changing a culture, holding back the better of the 2 options, if you believe he is the better of the 2, for the sake of a red shirt. For a quarter of a season, that will mean he had played in 7 out of 12 games.
Well, this is where my sinister approach comes into play. He's not doing this, but it's me going, well, we're not going to win this game regardless, and I want him healthy for the 2 games that we can win, that we'll play in very warm weather and all that right here in our backyard against BC and Florida. So, DeAndre, have at it, big boy. And, when it doesn't work out and we take the expected ass kicking, my path to starting James the remainder of the season is in play, and you're free to do whatever you want to do. But that's not what's going on. It's just something I thought about.
I mean, that's a slippery slope, and I get it. It's a year of eligibility. Once again, I fully understand that.
Well, here's what I get, Tom, because we'll go around in circles.
Why don't you sit Cam? Why don't you sit Marvin Wilson then? Let's just keep him fresh. Let's not risk injury because it's all about next year then. It's not about this year.
Cam has largely been a starter all year. You're not going to – here's the
Let's just preserve him, though, because there's injury risk. You may as well put all those eggs in the basket for 2019. Screw it if the best players aren't going to play.
Here's the thing. I think fans will be and are rightfully perturbed and frustrated and angry. It's just one more thing, one more wrinkle in an already very, very aggravating season. But again, in terms of what we would see this Saturday, I don't really think it matters who you start at quarterback.
But for the locker room, wouldn't you admit that there's a wrinkle there when you're trying to build trust and you're trying to tell the kids that are a little bit older that, hey, man, every game matters. Oh, really? It does? Well, I'm glad to see James is sitting. If they in fact believe in him more.
But I don't know what they believe. I don't know. I mean, they like him more, but there's a difference between liking him more and thinking that he is just straight up a better pure passer. I don't know that that's true. I mean, I don't know that he's that much better than DeAndre Francois. And against this group, neither are going to have success. So that would be speculation as to what the locker room thinks about their abilities. And I don't know the answer to that. And I'm not going to comment on that. I think long-term you're better off with James for a lot of reasons. But, I mean, I don't know that they feel that way. They're in practice every day.
Well, the first scenario you brought up included the fact that you would want James to start the last 2 games because they're more winnable and the weather is more conducive.
I'm giving you my personal opinion about who I think is you're better off with, but I don't know that you asked about the locker room. I don't know what the locker room feels like. I don't know if that's true. So therefore, I can't speculate that you are causing a rift in the locker room because of the assumption that I think you're better off with this guy. I don't know what the locker room thinks. Well, I know they like him more.
We may be coming at it from different places, but I think we both agree that him popping off this morning to the media creates this whole problem where there wasn't one. You just keep your mouth shut and say what you said in fall camp, which is the best player is going to play. If he says that, this isn't even a talking point. We're talking about Florida State, Florida basketball or something. Talking about GameDayExcursions.com. We're not talking about potential. What are the implications of starting, DeAndre or James Blackman?
But there is a reality that goes on with coaches when you're trying to win over the hearts and minds of either future players in recruiting and or their parents. And that is that the players now have a say, which we wanted. We wanted that to happen in college football in general, right? With this new redshirt rule, they have a greater say. The transfer rule gives them a greater say. So we're welcoming in a new normal. And that is that players can make a decision or help you make a decision. You might want to do one thing, and that dad might say, no. My kid wants the opportunity, if need be, in the future to transfer with as much eligibility as possible. We're in the middle of a season that's completely lost with an offensive line that's going to get him killed. We're going to hold off here. And if one's not appreciably better and it's not going to alter your season one way or the other, you might say, all right, I'll adhere to that or I'll listen to that. Maybe they come to an agreement.
But if DeAndre gets hurt, he comes in.
Maybe
Jesus.
But they have those agreements. You can sit down with a guy and say, listen, here's what we're going to do. That's what they should have done at Clemson with Kelly. Remember that? We were talking about this. You could have done that with that kid.
Yeah.
So I'm saying this is a new reality. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Sam Howell comes in next year, and I bet he expects to start, and I'm sure he expects certainly a fair opportunity to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So then what? So let's say that he's not ready. You're going to redshirt him, and then what happens with Blackman, who's now got 3 years? Howell's not going to sit for 3 years, so
that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. It would all work itself out. I have a sneaking suspicion, and I'm not trying to say I know the answer, but the way that James carries himself, I think he wants to play football. I think he wants to play for this team this week. I think he wants to play against Boston College and Florida.
That's the kind of love I have for the kid to believe that, too.
If he doesn't, that would be a complete deviation from everything that you see in that kid for 60 minutes when he's on the bench or when he's actually playing.
And what happens, too, is when we talk about on-field competition and we talk about competitors and the way you are mentally and physically and the way you're taught and the way you come up playing in team sports or anything else, it's to always be constantly competing and to be the guy that, to be a guy that wants to be the guy and all of that. But when we get into the business of sport and eligibility and all those things that are difficult for fans, listen, we've had this conversation a couple different times in the bowl season where guys make a business decision to sit out. And people are up in arms about it. But I get it. Now, that's different because a lot of them are worried about money. But at the same time, I mean, this is...
I get you, but as a true sophomore, and with 3 games to go in the season, and you're trying to build something here, and you could be the face of the team next year. Here's your preseason almost for 2019.
That's what I think. By the way, we don't know yet. We don't know.
DeAndre just could be full of it.
He could be. He could be just completely full of it. But that wouldn't jive with A, how confidently he stated it, with James standing right next to him, and B, the fact that he got first-team reps today. There is the possibility they think he's the better quarterback and that they're going to start the better quarterback this Saturday because they think he runs the offense better. There's that. We haven't even considered that.
Oh, we did. I mean, we said NC State's defense is terrible. So, I mean, DeAndre could have lit him up maybe, but, I think James is more pocket mobile.
Yeah, I think DeAndre would have been sacked 3 to 5 more times.
Right. And at what point does everybody shut down on one another? I think James inspires you to keep going a little bit.
But a very simple answer is this. They believe DeAndre still gives you the best chance to win. They start him. He gets hurt. Okay, now we have to go to James Blackman. But we weren't guarding anything. We were just going with the guy we think is better.
The hard part here is Willie laughed off the notion earlier this season that, DeAndre's job was up for grabs. He said, are you serious? When Ira asked him about it 3 weeks ago.
He's been very loyal to that kid.
Well, he has the opportunity to do so with you when you interview him Monday morning and with the assembled press yesterday.
Yeah, and he said he's going to evaluate throughout the course of the week. I would like to know what changed.
Yeah, right. What changed overnight?
Well, I just speculated what changed. I think there may have been a conversation. I can't prove it. I don't know it. It's just the only thing that makes any sense.
Let's say Howell started his sophomore season, so he could be a redshirt freshman, and he starts over James. That would be his senior season if he played out the rest of this year?
Well, he would transfer. He'd probably have the credits to graduate and go.
Well, and guess what? I bet he wouldn't be in 5 games. So you'd save your shirt there. It's not like the shirt magically goes away. These things tend to work themselves out. You know, for the betterment of the long game of your career here, the program, if in fact you're the better option and Willie's being held back by this notion of we can't lose a year of eligibility in a lost season, no way. No, that's just a load of crap. I have a hard time accepting that.
I don't believe that Willie is sitting around going, we can't lose the red shirt.
No, I'm saying if a parent approached him or James approached him and said, I don't want to lose a year for this season, what kind of attitude is that?
Well, it's not one you would like, but it could be a reality. I mean, I don't know, but I don't want to do that because that certainly paints people in a certain way.
It's one thing if there's a bowl game, you're not playing for a national title, and you're about to collect millions of dollars, and you don't want to go the way of Jalen Smith out at Notre Dame.
Yep.
Understood. But, I mean, if James is in fact somebody that we think has a better chance of being the starter in 2019 than DeAndre does.
I would think that getting more reps, not less reps, in this offense would behoove you. It would also allow you to separate yourself from Howell in a competition next year because you will have experience running the offense in games. Now, I agree, but we're only left to speculate why today did DeAndre Francois decide to not only state that he's the guy and that Willie has told him he's the guy and that he's going to be the number one and, hey, it's just nice to have a kid like James over here who can come in and throw for 400. Why would he do that? He wouldn't go – maybe he would. Did he just go off half-cocked?
I mean, it could be. This is where I wish we were on Sirius because I like to drop a Jimbo-style, G-bomb,
Yeah.
Damn it! Are you kidding me?
I agree.
Career Source Capital Region.
Career Source Capital Region invites you to Paychecks for Patriots, a hiring fair dedicated to veterans, active military, and their families, Thursday, November 15th at the FSU Turnbull Conference Center. Veterans will have exclusive access to employers beginning at 9 a.m., but all are welcome starting at 10 a.m. Learn more and register today at CareerSourceCapitalRegion.com.
Career Source 844-CAREER-1.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
It's that time of year again where you get to shop for the naughty and the nice. Make it easy. Superlube it with a Super Change card. Visit any of our 19 area Superlube locations, buy 3 oil changes and get 1 free. And for a limited time, you'll also receive a free fuel system cleaner. Superlube. It's quick and convenient, and you never need an appointment. Hurry in and get your Super Change card plus a free fuel system cleaner today.
How I love to Superlube my car, lube my car. How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
is rewarding, but it's not exactly a bed of roses. It's a very dirty job, subject to the environment, working on 98-degree summer days, dodging rainstorms, working on steep slopes like a mountain goat. At Parker Brothers, our skilled workers have chosen this challenging trade as their career choice. These are the people that you want working on your roof. We've been servicing the community since 1995. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
CGC 042221, CCC 049350.
Fall is here. You know what that means, right?
Yeah, colder weather and yard work, like raking leaves.
But you know, fall is also the perfect time to get your energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. That way, you can be sure that your whole home is ready for the cooler weather.
I can't afford that.
Yes, you can. It is a free service. An energy auditor comes to your house at a time that is convenient for you, examines your structure, checks your energy and water systems, and then recommends changes that could save you energy, water, and money.
They do all that for free?
Yeah. To help customers even more, the city also offers installation grants and low-interest loans and rebates for Energy Star appliances.
Wow, you can really pile on the savings with the City of Tallahassee. I'm going to call City Utilities today at 891-4968 to schedule my free energy audit.
Oh, and don't forget to check out talgov.com for more information about all the ways the city can help you save energy, water, and money.
Selling your home? Looking to buy? Go to Manasa.com now. Joe Manasa Real Estate.
Some say Hulu is the bacon of TV. But think about it. Bacon is so incredibly good, everyone's eating everything without bacon forever. And Hulu? Well, with tons of shows and movies, exclusive originals like The Handmaid's Tale, plus live TV for sports, Hulu will ruin TV for you forever. Bacon. Hulu. Hulu with live TV plan required for live content. Restrictions apply.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill and Mike's Marine Supply.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-JOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
Broadcasting live from the Amerigas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
At Jake Cameron Show, I can't imagine a scenario that benefits Blackman redshirting. To be frank, if Blackman is still the quarterback in 2021, I don't like Taggart's chances of being here. I like JB as a quarterback, but he's not ideal type for Taggart's offense. That's from Tom on Twitter, hashtag a-hole.
Hashtag a-hole.
Well, I don't disagree with that. I don't think he should redshirt, and I'd play him, but we're just trying to talk about what's possible, what's led to this, how we arrived at a place where DeAndre Francois this morning decides to say definitively that he's the guy, that he's been told he's the guy, and then he gets first-team reps today at practice. I don't.
Didn't James get some? I thought he got some. I thought I read that from Tim, who was out of practice.
I do think Sam Howell will come in here and start next year. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. A lot of people think it's probably not in your best interest to have a true freshman come in and start. It is in your best interest if he knows how to run your offense with efficiency. Oh, he'll make mistakes passing the football. The speed of the game will catch up with him. He may not be mature enough. We'll see. And you got to gauge that and find out what he is when he gets here and arrives early, by the way. He'll be an early entry. So we can gauge all that. But if he is mature enough to handle it, plenty of true freshmen out there providing pivotal roles for their football teams all over the country. So I'm not going to presume he can't do that. And if he's run this sort of an offense and is better and more efficient at running it and understanding it, then fine. Because he's a thick kid. He's 221 pounds. It's not like he's skinny. It's not like he comes in here in need of putting on a ton of weight in order to physically be ready. I think he's physically ready now. He's a big, strong kid.
Well,
he's not tall, but he's not, he's a thick kid.
The schedule is a little bit more gettable next year, too.
That is correct.
So there's that part of it, which if you're not going to initiate a freshman if we were playing Alabama and Atlanta to start the year or something along those lines.
Don't need to be doing that anymore.
But yeah, reading Tim's updates from practice today, Tim Linnefeld at Seminoles.com. If you're curious, DeAndre Francois is present in practice, throwing and working with the first-team offense during the open portion. Next tweet, update. James Blackman taking first reps on the next rotation. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think certainly, that's you got to give them both first-team reps. Both guys have got to be ready to play, and I just hope DeAndre overstepped.
I think that's got to be. We were just testing the theory of the red shirt, and if somebody steps in for that, Howell's not. If Howell is sitting like the tweeter is writing in, then James is going to get his shirt anyway. He'll get his 4 games. Maybe he'll play in fewer than 4 games in that year, which would be 2020, right? That would be his senior season if he exhausted his red shirt this year. Or, excuse me, if he played more than 4 games this year. Mm-hmm. So he'd be in year 4. He'd still have the eligibility to gain a red shirt. And if Howell is your starter by that season, then everything works out. If he isn't, then that means James is started for the next 2 years beyond the 3 games between now and the end of the season. And all of that assumes that Willie and Walt Bell thinks that, James is the right guy for this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I don't know, and I have, I'm a little reluctant to speculate on that. I don't know what they were thinking, what they saw in the film room. I asked the question. That's all I can do. I asked it straight up to Willie Taggart, the head coach, on Monday.
But the unscientific, just gut feeling you get in hearing the tone of Willie answering your questions, you thought that meant that James did favorably and they like him moving forward.
Well, if you just watch the game, he made some mistakes. Behind this line, I think you're going to see a lot of kids make mistakes, but he made more plays than he didn't, and you certainly couldn't have come away from that game saying he was the reason Florida State lost. This was a game that was more disappointing by what the defense didn't do than anything else. Again, neither quarterback is going to have the benefit of a rushing attack behind this offensive line. We're automatically one-dimensional, and in that realm, he threw for 421 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Where I agree with you wholeheartedly is I don't think it'll matter this weekend.
No.
Obviously. But if it is known that the attitude is that I'm going to shirt and that's why I'm not available,
that would be disappointing. That would piss you off, yeah.
Then I don't want you in pads for the Boston College and Florida games.
Yeah, just wear jeans and a T-shirt.
Right. Put the headset on and help, but just don't put on the shoulder pads.
I like my more sinister approach. I'm starting DeAndre Francois because I don't care about him, and I'm going to let him take an ass beating up there in the freezing cold because he's better equipped to do it, more body mass, gets done taking said ass kicking, makes it a lot easier for me to come back and say, well, I got my quarterback. It's James Blackman. You saw that display up at Notre Dame. Moving on with James. Here we go. Let's go. And that's the end of it. Warm weather taking on Boston College with a chance to get bowl eligible over the next 2 weeks. But that's not what's going on. It's just my sinister plan. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
need of auto repairs? Look no further than Neese Tire and Auto Service. Neese has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Neese Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Neese Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Hey guys, is it time to get your hair in the game?
Time to claim your spot!
Then it's time to check in online at sportclips.com/check-in for a fresh cut, legendary hot steam towel and massaging shampoo. So do your hair a favor by checking in online and arrive just in time for your Sport Clips MVP haircut experience while you surround yourself with sports on TV. Get in line online at sportclips.com/check-in.
Time to claim your spot!
At Sport Clips Haircuts, we're on a mission to help our veterans with their education. In 2013, we established the VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program. With the help of your generous donations, we've raised nearly $5 million and awarded more than 1,000 scholarships across the country. Visit Sport Clips today and help a hero. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate an additional $1 for every haircut we give. Help us continue this honorable mission.
Seminole fans know barbecue, and Tallahassee's best southern barbecue is Willie Jewell's. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue on Thomasville Road. Smoked on site 24 hours a day. Cooked low and slow the old school way. And every meal is served with a side of southern hospitality. And take advantage of the barbecue tailgate special. Pork brisket, chicken ribs, turkey, and wings with all the fixings to make your tailgate the place to pregame. Let Willie Jewell's take the stress out of your next tailgate or event. Willie Jewell's, 5442 Thomasville Road. Go Noles!
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it? Can I get that red with AI? Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. At this hour, no change in quarterback for the Giants. Coach Pat Shurmur said Eli Manning will start against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Shurmur adding that he discussed with Manning and the entire team of the need to play better. Before the team's bye, Shermer had said we'll see when asked if Eli would keep his starting job. Cowboys Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman suggesting the Dallas might need a complete overhaul unless things turn around the second half of the season. During an interview with 1310 The Ticket, Aikman mentioned all the coaches since the team's last Super Bowl championship haven't even been able to get the Cowboys to an NFC title game, and the one constant during that time has been owner and general manager Jerry Jones. And speaking of Jones, on 105.3 The Fan, he backed Dak Prescott as the team's starting quarterback, said that Dak is the QB of the Cowboys. He's young, and he's going to get extended. Second college football playoff rankings of the season set to be released tonight, 9 Eastern, ESPN TV and the ESPN app. One item to keep an eye on. Can Michigan leap over Notre Dame for that fourth spot? Wonders College Game Day host Reese Davis.
Now, Notre Dame won against the Wolverines, as everyone remembers, on the opening day of the college football season. But if I'm being totally honest with you, David, and that would be no other way, I think the Irish starting to look like they might be leaking oil just a smidge, while the Wolverines appear to be getting better and better every week.
Wake Forest will start redshirt sophomore Jamie Newman at quarterback this week against number 22 NC State. Newman replaces Sam Hartman, who started the first 9 games of the season. NHL, the Blackhawks fired coach Joel Quenneville. The team won 3 championships during Quenneville's tenure, but currently are just 6-6-3 on the season. Jeremy Colleton, the coach of Chicago's AHL team, replaces Quenneville.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but hey, if you do, we got you covered. You can find any portion of the program that you want to upon its conclusion on the app, the WTSM app, which is free. Also in iTunes, of course. We post it every day. And on our website, ESPNTallahassee.com. If you're out and about, racing around to get to the nearest poll to vote, good luck to you. Safe travels. Good job getting out there and voting. Imagine it's busy right about now. People are getting out of work, and they're like, time's running out. Got to make it happen. So if you're listening to us, hopefully you're enjoying yourself. Next hour, we do something a little different. We're going to go ahead and switch over to Tallahassee Game Day Court Report. We're going to pick certain games this year for Florida State basketball. They come into the season top 20, number 17 in one poll, number 15 in the other. And rankings don't matter as much, but they're an indicator, certainly, that you're well thought of as you come into the season. And certainly Florida State has a lot of pieces coming back that would lead one to think that potentially a bright future lay in wait. And it starts tonight against your arch rival in the University of Florida, a team you've knocked off for 4 consecutive meetings, and a chance to extend the longest streak in this series history for Florida State in your favor to 5 tonight. 9 o'clock tip, again, from 5 to 6 tonight. Stay with us. We will repurpose the 5 to 6 p.m. hour of the Jeff Cameron Show. Myself and Tom Lang still here doing what we do, but it'll be basketball related. All basketball for that hour. Looking forward to it. Excited to welcome in the return of college basketball. In general, excited to see what we got on tap throughout the night, 24 hours of college basketball and all that good stuff. And I could do without a 9 p.m. tip, but hey, so be it. Tucker Center, ordinarily a very friendly place for Florida State, who has the best home record in all of basketball over the last 2 years at 31-2. That's a remarkable record. But I don't know about tonight. Weeknight, Tuesday, Election Day, a lot going on. I like to believe that maybe the students will help out here. We'll see. 9's awfully early for a student, so that's no big deal. But I don't trust them much these days either. So we'll see.
It's incredible the resilience of a student, too, when it comes to being ready to go each and every day at 9 o'clock. Like, you're right, like it is a happy hour or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
And we all did it.
Oh, yeah.
Most of us did, but it was nothing. It was like, oh, it's
Well,
10:30. Why would we go out now? It's too early.
Well,
It's
we
way
were
too
certainly
early.
all that age where it was completely acceptable to be starting your evening at 9.
But the court report, we'll have 2 games for you. Tallahassee Game Day Court Report this month. That's tonight. And then Purdue, as you mentioned, that's November the 28th. And then not until
That's a
January.
fun game.
We'll do the Miami and Duke games in the second week of January. Then in February, the road game against Syracuse. We'll do a dedicated program to that. Louisville, the road game at North Carolina in February. And then also, to cap it off, Monday, February 25th, Notre Dame at FSU. We may add on some more should bubble implications be there down the stretch, but we've committed basically to the big ACC games and these 2 big ones in November starting tonight against Florida.
I don't like starting with the rival and with a team of this magnitude, not because I fear losing the game. No, I actually like our chances at home, certainly against Florida, but I like to ease into a season. I like to get guys who you're relying on who are playing more minutes than maybe they were even expecting with the injury to Cover. I prefer those guys kind of ease their way into what we're doing and not start against an opponent like this. But, hey, because these games don't matter as much, it's an opportunity certainly to get a RPI win that you're going to be citing at the end of the year if you're on the bubble. But I'd like to think Florida State's not going to be on the bubble. Last year they were at 9-9 at the end of the regular season, and you weren't real sure that they were going to get in, but certainly once they did, they made the most of their opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they'd definitely get in once they won that last home game, which was the key.
I talked about it, but there were still people out there speculating. It's amazing.
Sean McDonough was stumping for it openly on ESPN's airwaves, which was ridiculous. You're going to show up to one game, talk about the team like you don't know it, because you clearly don't, and then you have a moral authority here somehow to speak about it for the balance of the second half that we don't belong in the tournament. Okay, well, we'll only turn around and go to the Elite Eight. Thank you very much.
Get you some, baby.
But given that we have, lost 3 out of our 4 top scorers when you factor in the Phil Kofer injury for tonight's game, and Angola was a really good free throw shooter on top of that. We don't have a lot of good free throw shooters if you're looking at last year's stats, projecting it towards tonight. There's a lot that needs to be made up for in short order against an opponent that's really talented, and that's hard, man, because if you could get the win in this game, you're right. It's a big feather in the cap to bolster you, even if you don't want to be on the 7 seed line, you want to get on the 6, things like that. That's what this game can do for you. You just hope it's kind of like pulling a slot machine tonight and see if you can get it.
Yeah, well, with Mann, Forrest, Savoy, Walker, Kamaji, Kabengele, all guys that return you're going to rely heavily on. Now we'll be excited to watch a newcomer like Raekwon Gray, who redshirted last year and has lost a bunch of weight. David Vassell, who is a true freshman. Nichols is the grad transfer from Albany. And then you have Anthony Polite and Wyatt Wilkes. Polite's a kid that, man, remember when we had Leonard Hamilton on, he couldn't stop talking about him. So I feel like maybe we're overlooking some guys that are going to end up contributing. Maybe not tonight, but in time.
Well, and that's the hard part, too, is, how big is the rotation tonight? It might be completely different than what Coach Ham wants to do for the balance of the non-conference slate, other than maybe a top-end tournament game around Thanksgiving time or the Purdue game the week after Thanksgiving. I mean, Ham might be playing against these lesser-thans, a 9-10-man rotation, as he likes to do. But tonight, what does he do? Does he find his best 6 players or 7 players at a camp and say, all right, we're going to circle the wagons here and go with a smaller rotation? And if Kumaji's in the game, how do we look? Remember, last year in the tournament, we looked like a completely different 5 on the floor, especially in the offensive, in our sets in the offensive half court, if Koumadje was in the game or if he wasn't in the game. So we're going to have different lines, I would think, too, based upon if we play big or small and how that impacts our offense. There's just so much to sort out tonight.
Spoke a lot in the first hour about the comments of one Deondre Francois this morning as he asserted that he is indeed the starter still and the number 1 and the guy that will get the start this weekend against Notre Dame. He even alluded to the fact that Willie Taggart has told him that. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Both guys took reps with the ones today. Certainly everybody seems to have an opinion on that and whether or not that's a smart move, a good move, the right move, more importantly. There's a lot of speculation as to why it would be that you would go back to Deondre Francois after the performance of James Blackman, in which he throws for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and becomes the ACC Player of the Week. That said, he did it against a secondary that's been torched by many the last few weeks. and maybe not a great indicator of just how well James would play moving forward. Could be that the staff feels like 12 is still the right player, is still the right guy to run this offense, the right player at the position for now, and that it was just a matter of him getting healthy. And if that's the case, and Tom, we did say that towards the end. I mean, we had all this wild speculation and rumor about whether or not James Blackman would have asked Coach Taggart not to play so that he still had his redshirt availability, whether or not that would have been the request of his parents or anybody else for that matter. I don't know if that's true or not true. It's something that coaches deal with off the field that we don't get a glimpse at a lot of times. There are a lot of other political factors that come into play, especially now that players have more say in the matter. And so, you're free to speculate, but it could very well just be that they needed to evaluate 12's medical status, that he needed to pass the concussion protocol, and then he came out and did, and they said, all right, you're back to starting. You're not going to lose your job due to injury. We don't think anything that we saw from Blackman is appreciably better than we would have seen from you against that secondary, and thus you're back out starting. And that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It's the simplest answer, and the problem is then you take issue with that evaluation because you don't think DeAndre's a great teammate, both by the way he said it in his actions in the past and what he put out on Instagram today and all of that. And if you're trying to change the culture in the locker room and both guys are equal, why not go with Blackman, who the players seem to like more, et cetera? Plus, he did play well, and he's more elusive in the pocket, and this offensive line can't block anybody, et cetera. But that may not have weighed in their decision. It could have just been that, again, they needed to find out whether or not Francois was healthy.
Well, I'd love to be a fly on the wall for the discussions in that coaching room as to who is the quarterback going to be in 2019. I mean, they can't know that now, but if they're speculating themselves, I mean, they have the most educated view on these things with the way they scout Sam Howell, with what they have from practice tape with both DeAndre Francois and James Blackman, and now game tape of the two of them. I mean, do they think it's a foregone conclusion that DeAndre is going to leave at the end of the year? Do they think that we're going to come into spring and fall camp with a three-man competition between DeAndre, James, and Howell, all the while knowing one of them would likely transfer at the end of that competition, maybe in fall camp, the way Bailey Hockman did? Do they think that Howell's the answer, and we're just treading water until we can get there, and we're going to turn the keys over to the true freshman? There's a lot to consider here. But
there is a lot to consider.
It's all undercut by the fact that DeAndre Francois is the messenger in this instance, that he's the one who tells you that he's going to be the starting quarterback. And given his past behavior and given the post on Instagram, which makes no sense, if it was his job all along, then why the hell would you post, "You can't come for my job"? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, because he's not a great teammate, and his ego does get in the way, and he does like to overstate things and his role and his responsibility and the way he is viewed by his teammates in that locker room. And it's one of the things that leads us to question him on a regular basis. Now, that said, that could just be a kid who got a little carried away and ran off at the mouth at a time that was inconvenient, certainly not something the coach would have wished for, and that he'll address tomorrow. We don't know. It certainly set a spark. It certainly lit a spark to let everybody speculate about how that was possible.
Well, and here's the fair thing, too, to bring up. We did it before the NC State game, which was talk about that secondary was so bad that James may go out and have a good game. He did.
But it would not necessarily portend of the game he'd have against Notre Dame.
Right, or in general, against some of the defenses that DeAndre faced that aren't named Clemson or Virginia Tech. I mean, maybe James would have the same kind of luck against the same types of defenses. It's just you're going against one of the worst secondaries you've seen, and that's why you can torch him for 400 yards. I'd argue there's a little bit of we learned a little bit of something from James on Saturday, which was the way he meanders in the pocket is a little bit better. And we actually call the offense a little bit different for him, too. There was one instance where we roll the pocket to the right and Brady Scott misses a block. I mean,
imagine
damn it.
that.
But you're rolling the pocket. You're trying to get this guy out in space. And it was the play where he tucks the ball and then stops to pop it down the field.
One thing we did not talk about this week and on Monday yesterday when we were assessing the play and the loss to NC State, when we talked before that game about how curious we were to see which players got the start, which players sat, which players played sparingly, all based on the observation by Willie Taggart after the game against Clemson that some of the kids weren't giving their best effort, and thus if you're not trying, you can't play. I hadn't thought about the idea of any of those guys being offensive linemen, but it would appear that clearly they had a problem with Mike Arnold, who only played because of injury.
Did they have a problem with Bavion Johnson? I mean, you're playing two guards and neither of them is Bavion. Is that it?
It's just
what's going on there, man?
It's just so discouraging.
Why can't we get 51 in there instead of a starting defensive tackle?
You got to continue to roll Arthur Williams out there, and jeez, it's a tough.
Nooney played 25 snaps in the second half.
Well, I don't think they think he quit. I think they just thought he had a bad attitude and that he lost control of his temper. I don't think they thought he was quit. Those are different things. I mean, I know what your opinion is. I'm just saying they didn't view it as him quitting. They viewed it as him just being immature. And
they've done some really good things, and they've commanded some really big moments in their Florida State history. But if 2019 begins, it won't with Nooney. But if DeAndre and Nooney aren't here,
you'll be all right with that.
I think everybody might be a little bit happier.
I think so. Feel your home has a challenging circumstance? Joe Manassa helps people like you every day. Alfred and Deborah purchased their Quail Court dream home with Joe Manassa Real Estate. After about a year, they realized they wanted to relocate to South Carolina to be closer to their son, who's in the Air Force. Once again, they hired Joe and the Manassa team. Concerned that their home's somewhat remote location would result in it sitting on the market, they didn't know what to expect. No problem for Joe and his team. Thanks to their pre-marketing efforts and the company's exclusive Coming Soon Homes website, they were able to match a buyer who was looking for just that circumstance. Joe secured a full price offer in no time. Alfred and Deborah are able to move closer to their son. Joe guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you can agree to, or he'll have it bought for cash. Call Joe to find out more about this phenomenal program. Not only that, working with Joe doesn't obligate you to anything. If he isn't doing his job, he'll let you out of the contract free and clear. But don't worry, that never happens because Joe sells homes quickly and for top dollar. Call Joe Manassa today, 850-888-0888. That's 850-888-0888. Or online at Manassa.com. That's MANAUSA.com. And start packing.
Hey, sports fans, who's on your Mount Rushmore of baseball? I'm going with Ruth, Cobb, Aaron, and Mantle. Football, I've got Bradshaw, Peyton, Montana, and Brady. In basketball, Jabbar, Jordan, Bird, and LeBron. This debate could go on and on, but when it comes to the Mount Rushmore of personal injury law in Tallahassee, the choice is clear. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm, so avoid the underdog and go with the favorite. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, and the 2019s are arriving every day, including the all-new 2019 Altima. Pick 6 Savings has almost cleared out the 2018 Altimas, but we still have a good selection of 2018 Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos that are all $6,000 off. All 2018 Sentras are $4,000 off, and we have over 40 to choose from. 2018 Versa S 5-speeds are $11,995, and 2018 Versa S Plus Automatics are $13,995. And we've extended the $10,000 off all 2018 Titan and Titan XD, regular cabs, extended cabs, crew cabs, gas or Cummins diesel. All 2018 Titans are $10,000 off, and we will give you $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade. That's $10,000 off all Titans and $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade, or a total of $12,000 in discounts on every Titan we sell. But you better hurry. The 2018s are going fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Come meet Justo Eiroa, professional cigar manufacturer and owner of JRE Cigars, on Friday, November 9th, only at Jerry's Cigar Shop. The legendary Eiroa family makes some of the best quality cigars in Honduras. With exquisite flavor and flawless construction, Justo Cigars never disappoint. So join us at Jerry's for great cigars, groovin' music, cold beer, lively conversation, and great fun. Don't miss the JRE Cigars event on November 9th from 6 to 10 p.m. only at Jerry's Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Need help moving? Two Men and a Truck Tallahassee provides professional home and business move services, both locally and long distance. For your next move, visit twomen.com or call them at 850-224-2232. Two Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
This football season, cater your tailgate with Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So a little bit of 22 degrees.
Yeah, look today, and apparently there's a decent shot now that Friday morning there's a little bit of snow in the Chicago area. How cool would that be?
Literally. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it was easy. It's going to be chilly. You know, when you look at the outline for what what Notre Dame is, if you look at the advanced numbers there, you just look at that S&P Plus and all that good stuff, Tom, we're in trouble. It does not bode well. They are really efficient with Book at quarterback. He's a good player, man.
So it's John Gruden, Mike Tirico, the beginning of Monday Night Football when he was talking about the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I don't see anybody on this offensive line that can block it up against Notre Dame. Moreover, I don't know that Florida State has a quarterback who knows how to run their system. They're in trouble, Mike.
Yeah, they're the 27th best offense. They're the 3rd best defense in the country. They, when you look at the resume here and you just look at win expectancy, win probability, the old 91%.
Then on the other side of the football, they can't cover all that well. And if Notre Dame runs at these linebackers, I don't know that they're going to choose the right gap, Mike. They're in trouble.
19th most success, their success rate efficiency on offense is the 19th best in the country. If you look at explosiveness, they're 6th in the country.
Florida State also returns kicks every week, Mike, and Willie Taggart said at his press conference on Monday they're going to continue to do so even though they line up inside the 15-yard line more than any other team in FBS. They're in trouble, Mike.
8th in finishing drive points per scoring opportunity for Notre Dame, top 10 there. They're a top 15 rushing attack. If you look at their efficiency in the run game and explosiveness and opportunity and all that, they're top 15. You look at them in almost every discernible category that would help you kind of, I guess, stack up what they are and what we are. You go, ooh, oh no, I don't, this ain't good. I mean, that kid is if we just want to look at traditional numbers, Ian Book is completing 74% of his passes, 12 yards per completion, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
I wish everybody got to see the facial expression you just let go there.
I mean, God, dog. This ain't good, man. He is so much better than Brandon Wimbush.
I'll tell you what, man, though. I do love those white-on-white uniforms.
I do,
Those are clean.
I agree with that. They are. They're going to be great. When we get our ass beat, we'll look good doing it. I'll tell you that much right now, Tom.
Shouldn't we wear the ugliest combination we have? Just
like,
piece it together and be like, all right.
We're wearing gold pants with a black top and our purple helmet. Just ridiculous. We're going to look ridiculous. What are they doing? Folks, you need to get quality sleep, damn it. I can tell you that right now. Quality sleep's important, especially going through a season like this one. Thank goodness I've had my pillow all season long to come home to. I don't get to rest with peace of mind, but I get to rest on my pillow. Woo, that's a good one. Thank goodness gracious I got it. It's comfortable. It's just the right size, and I don't have to constantly reposition it. Most pillows you do. Got to flip them about and find the angle and twist them, turn them sideways. Not with my pillow. So if you want quality sleep that has you feeling like a new person the next morning, take advantage of my offer. Their offer. My Pillow's offer. Here you go. 100% machine washable, 10-year warranty, and now they've extended the money-back guarantee all the way through March 1st. Go to MyPillow.com. Buy one, get one free special. Use my code 979ESPN. Use it. It's a good code. Can't think of a better code than 979ESPN, Tom. And I can't think of a better pillow than MyPillow. MyPillow.com. Use the promo code 979ESPN. Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shop's work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Sport Clips Haircuts Help a Hero program funds scholarships for United States veterans who are pursuing a college degree or vocational certification. Check in online and visit your nearest Sport Clips to learn more and donate from October 15th through November 11th.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it?
Can I get that red with AI?
Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
The devastation is unparalleled in our history. The massive damage, displacement, and loss of life are staggering. The recovery will be long and painful. Hurricane Michael has left its mark with us forever. Through it all, the remarkable devotion of utility service personnel, emergency management leaders, law enforcement and first responders, community relief organizations, and the hundreds of volunteers bringing aid and comfort to thousands of people here and across the region has been nothing less than heroic. It's hard to know how to express our gratitude, but right here, right now, this is our heartfelt word of thanks to all of you, our heroes. The men and women who have stepped up and remain determined to win this fight, and no doubt will go on caring and serving. Thank you. From Dr. Eve James and her entire staff at Southern Smiles Family Dentistry in Quincy. Online at southernsmilesfl.com.
The Florida State basketball team has the best record in the nation at home the last 2 years.
Three-point shot, it's good again!
The Tucker Center is a house of horrors for opponents. Don't miss the best ticket in town, the ACC Pack. Come see the nation's best basketball right here in Tallahassee for as low as $99. The Noles host Duke, Notre Dame, Miami, Louisville, and more inside the Tucker Center. College basketball is taking the capital city by storm. Don't get left out. Purchase your ACC Pack today. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
Car get caught in some gridiron action? Take it to Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center. Now open at the new location on Lake Bradford Road. The new Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center is still providing the best car care and collision service in town with the same great people, but now at a new state-of-the-art facility off Lake Bradford Road. Come check it out for a free collision estimate and find out why Bob's Auto Repair and Collision has been rated #1 with FSU students in Tallahassee for over 35 years. Bob's Auto Repair and Collision Center, 2293 Lake Bradford Road. Don't let your car get stuck on the bench this season.
License number MV01209.
Some say Hulu is the bacon of TV. But think about it. Bacon is so incredibly good, everyone's eating everything without bacon forever. And Hulu? Well, with tons of shows and movies, exclusive originals like The Handmaid's Tale, plus live TV for sports, Hulu will ruin TV for you forever. Bacon. Hulu. Hulu with live TV plan required for live content. Restrictions apply.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, listen to Dave.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Andro 400 Max, an extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Go to andro400.com or call 888-510-9336. That's 888-510-9336.
Broadcasting live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Happy Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. Hope you're well. I just saw your Tevin Coleman touchdown you talked about on yesterday's program. I can see your
it's a nice play, yeah. Let's go to Carissa Thompson for a game break.
Oh, good, they're throwing. It can't be a running back. Oh, wait.
Ryan drops back to pass, and he fires to Tevin Coleman, who runs it all the way in for a touchdown.
And the pain in your heart as you watch that develop.
That's a long touchdown bonus. That's a reception. And in my league, you combine rushing and receiving. I'm like, well, now he's, what was it, a 40-yarder or a 36? Whatever it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so now he's more than a third of the way there to his 100-yard little bonus. I was so screwed in that moment.
You know what I'm shocked by that we haven't talked about, and I understand why we wouldn't spend a lot of time on it, but obviously the Saints win over the Rams was the marquee story of the day, and again, Drew Brees continues to some degree, rewrite who he is in the annals of football history at the position. He's a guy now that may find his way very, very late in his career into that upper echelon of all time. He's already great. He's going to the Hall of Fame, but I mean, the elite of the elite. I mean, he's putting up those kinds of numbers. And when they play at home, he's especially good. And I'm not taking anything away from him because he's a good quarterback regardless, but he's really good in the dome, as a lot of guys are. I mean, when you can count on consistent weather and a fast track and you have weapons, and, he's incredibly accurate, so there you go. But I say all that to say this. It is remarkable to watch just how it is that the Rams are so bad on defense. Remember the offseason?
Yeah, they built up everything.
Marcus Peters is garbage. I'm just a steaming pile of garbage who, if he were on my team, I would hate with a passion. That guy takes so many risks. It reveals a selfishness that is unacceptable, man. Play the coverage. You can't get beat there. That's the one thing you can't do. Michael Thomas can't get past you. You're going to jump the route. Oh, okay.
Yes, it is a dumb play, but also Michael Thomas is uncoverable this season,
Well, he's awesome, but you just can't make the assumption there, man. That's unbelievable. And, oh, by the way, I like Aaron Donald, but, again, they've got Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald. They brought in Marcus Peters. They have all these guys.
Dante Fowler they traded for last week as well.
Yeah, They don't get stops.
It's a lot of red asses who seem like they would shut down on you if things go wrong.
But things aren't going wrong. They're kicking ass. They're the second best team in football. I don't understand.
I don't think they feel like things are going right on their side.
Well, they don't get stops. But, hey, man, get over yourself. I'm able to score 100 points a game to keep you afloat. Let's get it right. We're trying to win a Super Bowl here. What are you doing?
I think you're right when you said yesterday that if Talib comes back and he's healthy, that changes things a lot.
Oh, yeah, it does. I mean, he's not the player he once was. He can't be. He's not nearly as fast as he used to be, but he's still a really good player, and he's physical, and they'll be better.
Think about that line of personalities, though. You got Talib and Peters, who have their own histories, and it doesn't even have to be off the field. It can just be that you're a pain to deal with, a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald's not exactly a great, on-the-field guy. He's a little after the whistle. Ndamukong Suh that's where he lives, is after the whistle. Ridiculous. He'll cleat you in the boys.
Yeah, he's a fan of it, yeah.
Dante Fowler is a red ass. LaMarcus Joyner, we love him, but he is a nasty player on the field.
Oh, but I do love him.
There's just a lot of personalities. You need Joe Torre over there to be the defensive coordinator for the LA Rams, I think. Manage those personalities. There's too many of them.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. And then the one thing, speaking of red asses, that we haven't talked about because he's kind of buried in all of this is the year that Phillip Rivers is having with the L.A. Chargers. Have you looked at his numbers?
I don't need to. I see it in your eyes. And I know every week I look up, I'm like, well, the Chargers are kicking ass again.
Well, first of all, Melvin Gordon gets overshadowed by the other L.A. team because Gurley's great, but Melvin Gordon is really, really good. His season average is 5.4 yards per carry. Like, we don't even act like Melvin Gordon's in the league.
They're anonymous in their own town.
Well, think about it. Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers is having a career year. I mean, statistically speaking, and then going by the record, he would deserve to be in the MVP conversation. Go look at Phillip Rivers' numbers.
I'm looking at him right now.
They're incredible.
He's completing 67% of his passes, and his average yards per attempt, oh my God, it's 9.1.
Yes.
And his air yards per attempt is 10.1. They are throwing the ball down the damn football field.
Better than at any point in his career. I mean, this guy is,
It's a 19-3 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yes.
I'm stuttering. I'm so aghast.
No, he's really good, man. He's really, really good.
Wow.
And they've won, they've won a lot of games, and we just don't talk about him. He's a fantastic talent, man. And, I like Phillip. Phillip's got to keep it riding, man. He's got 47 kids to feed.
He needs more kids. That motivates him. He just needs kids.
He's got to keep
Maybe
on.
He keeps them out of the house. Or keeps
it on, guys. Keep it going, baby.
He needs vitality, Jeff.
Oh. Well, Tom. Try Andro 400. Tens of thousands of customers choose Andro 400 every month because Andro 400 melts away stubborn belly fat. Increases your energy and stamina. The word is energy. Improves your mood, too. And it's a 90-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call 1-888-400-0435 or go to andro400.com and learn more. Just use the promo code J6OFF. J6OFF.
J, the number 6?
Yes, 6. I didn't say anything bad.
No, the number 6. As in, not SIX.
No. J6OFF for a discount on your order. Andro400.com. There you go. All right. More energy. Sounds good to me.
One more note on Phillip Rivers, very quickly.
Yeah.
His air yards per attempt is better than that of Patrick Mahomes. And we all talk about how downfield they are.
Yeah, well, Patrick Mahomes is pretty freaking awesome.
Same division. Here's this guy throwing the ball down the field more than Patrick Mahomes is. And Patrick's got Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah, and he caught a 40-yard bomb on Sunday. Kareem Hunt, really good, too. 375 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes over the weekend against Cleveland. Like, that was a real quiet ass-kicking that they laid. They were bored. It's just every week with those guys. It's amazing.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Will have exclusive access to employers beginning at 9 a.m., but all are welcome starting at 10 a.m. Learn more and register today at CareerSourceCapitalRegion.com.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
This football season, cater your tailgate with Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Nice. Coming up next, Tallahassee Game Day Court Report with me, Tom, and you. All right, that's how we roll next hour. It's the Jeff Cameron Show being co-opted by us for another show in my last hour, which I agreed to for money. So that's what we'll do. It's a good thing, and it is going to be fun because we're going to have select games in which we do that throughout the course of the year. This being the season opener against an arch rival in the University of Florida, it makes sense to do it. So we shall. I look forward to it, and it is brought to you by our friends at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Jerry's Cigar Shop, where you can have a cold beer and a cigar. It's all right with me. And Pockets Pool and Pub. That'll be fun.
Which has been around for 20 years now, which is amazing. And then at 6:30 tonight, the Champions Classic. Coverage begins right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Game number 1, Michigan State and Kansas, followed by Duke and Kentucky.
Welcome back, college basketball. Good to see you again. A little too early. Normally, this is the time of year where I'm not prepped the house for your arrival just yet, but I'm ready this year because the preceding guest has really made a mess of the place, and we're telling them to take it on down the road College football came in, they were a little wild. They don't clean up after themselves. In particular, Florida State leaves towels on the floor, never trying to do the right thing by us. I've moved them on out of the house, and I'm welcoming in college basketball, where they'll keep the place tidy, keep our attention, and divert our shame and embarrassment.
Probably. That's probably
well,
the case.
Yeah, it's probably true, right? We don't know for sure, but yeah.
A little shaken, going to be very vigilant as to whether or not this is going to be another good house guest, or is it different than last year?
Well, we don't know in the early stages of a season just yet how to judge the person that leaves the fork out. They could have put it in the dishwasher, but we didn't give them any special instructions just yet. So, early on, go easy with the missteps. Like I see Florida State basketball left the paper towels in the spot they don't go again. That's why we have this little wooden thing right here. We'll have to talk to them about that tomorrow. And then the next game, it could be a little something extra.
It serves as the axis by which,
you get pull. Yeah.
There it is.
That's how it works. That's why we got it. I didn't buy that just for looks. That's where the paper towels go. All right, I look forward to it. Hey, Big Daddy J split last night with the hockey wagers. Don't, for now, I don't know. When I get greedy, leave my NBA. Listen, the Magic scored 12 points in the third quarter last night. They were beating the bejesus out of Cleveland, and they scored 12 points. And then they might as well go on to lose the game. They're down 5. They go on a 7-0 run to end the game and win by 2. So they win the game. They don't cover. They screw me. But, what's with the 12 points in the third quarter? And then also, Denver is now 10-1. By the way, best story in the NBA along with Toronto right now is that nobody knows this, but, an eighth of the way through the season, Denver's 10-1. And the Celtics are really good, and they're 2 top 5 defensive clubs. I take the under on 210, and they go berserk in the second half. It was ridiculous. The first quarter, I go, okay, so I see where Denver's just dropped 35 points. Is that what we're doing here? Yeah. So leave my NBA alone for a minute. In the NHL, we're 1-1 last night. We're 500 on the season. With the juice, that's a problem. So I got to get right by you guys, and we're going to take a game tonight. Here you go, Tom. Cue it up. Let's do a little Big Daddy here for everybody before the end of the hour is up.
Hey, Big Daddy. Having some Red Russians tonight?
We'll know in about 47 seconds.
Into an open wing. It's picked up by Doughty. An empty net. He scores.
Hot damn. Big Daddy's done it again. Red Russians all around, Teddy.
All right, Big Daddy.
Edmonton last night doesn't score in the third period. Washington last night doesn't score in the third period. Game ends 4-2. We were getting a goal and a half. Slap to the cojones. Luckily, Philadelphia and Arizona played to the over easily. We split on the night, 1-1. Tonight, the action sees Montreal getting a goal and a half to the Rangers. We'll take that goal and a half. Thank you very much. We'll take Montreal, take our goal and a half, and hopefully we're drinking Red Russians tonight. Crank it. Yeah, on election day. Crank it. Worst thing I saw last night, and I don't know why I endeavored to do it, but I did. I do this sometimes. I get roped in, baby. I was watching the National Football League and that crap game between Dallas, who's awful, and should have fired Garrett ages ago. I don't know what they're doing. It's ridiculous every day we have this conversation, or at least Dallas fans do, that clown is on their sideline making mistake after mistake after mistake, and their team is playing listless football every week. They come out of a bye, and that's the effort they give at home on a Monday night. That'll hurt your feelings. Thanks for the bye week. Way to get straight. Good thing our coach was at the World Series during the bye week.
Yes, he was.
My man, that ain't a good look. Thanks for the 14 points. By the way, Dak sucks. And I'm tired of every time they talk about that guy, about that first season. Great. Well, now that he doesn't have the built-in advantage of the league's best rushing attack and the best offensive line, we're seeing him be, pretty damn average. And he turns it over incessantly. He did again last night.
Saw Mariota didn't have any interceptions last night, but he fumbled twice.
Well, he's fumbled 4 of his last 5 games. I wonder if that'll come up on the broadcast. Oh, it didn't. But anyhow, I will say he did make a throw down the seam on 35 yards on 3rd and long. That was a rope. That was the best throw I've ever seen him make. It was gorgeous.
Well, it's like Jimbo and Smash, the corner route. It's just something you learn in this offense, which is what we're running now. Seam throws. I haven't seen a lot of those, though, this year, have we, now that I'm thinking about it?
No, but we now have on the outside here, that's what you do if you've got singles over there.
One of the best seam throws I've seen all year was to DJ Matthews when we were going right down the field at the end of the first half.
Good call.
That was, when James was getting in a rhythm there, I think it was inside the 10-yard line. I forget which scoring drive it was, but that was probably the best throw into a window where you see 2 or 3 defenders that we've seen this year. It was a sight for sore eyes. Unfortunately, it didn't matter as NC State scored nearly 50.
Watched that game last night, and once again, I haven't watched a full game in the NFL this year in which I didn't have a moment to be enraged. You've got to I'm not allowed to say what I want to say, but we have got to stop sissifying football, man. It is a brutal game. It is a game that's not for everybody. It is a game that can cause long-term harm to the body and the brain. It is a game that you have to be willing to accept an inherent risk to your well-being to play. And now that it's all on the table, and we've talked about the problems of concussion and the potential for life-altering damage to various body parts, we do no longer have to make the game two-hand touch. Everybody knows what they're getting into. Everybody knows the deal now. If you're playing football now, you're not in the dark about all of these things. You know the deal. You have to be able to make a tackle, or else this game has no integrity. We're watching 7-on-7. We're watching arena football. It's just ridiculous. Quarterbacks feel like they have license to do anything they want because you can't touch them, and it changes the entirety of a game. It wouldn't have mattered last night because Dallas is awful, but Mariota scrambles off to the left. Mariota's a quarterback that in this league can run. He can still fly, and when he gets in space, you are in trouble. He is still that wicked fast dude we saw running against us, and we thought we had the space and the angles. You and I were watching him. Ooh, that's different. That dude is fast as hell. He's still fast as hell, and he goes to slide. But he doesn't. I don't know what he was doing. It's this most awkward thing. He's off in what would be the flats to try to get a first. It's 3rd down. It's a big damn moment. He's rolling to his left. He never slides and gives himself up. The guy that's about to hit him is right there. Has now lowered. He's not up high. He has lowered his body, his sights for the chest area. He begins to commit, which you have to do to make a tackle. And Mariota does this side, not feet first, this sort of side. I can't decide, am I trying to reach for the first down, or do I want to give myself up because I'm about to get popped, or I can't quite figure it out, and thus he's in between. So he does this sideways thing, and he gets hit in the chest by a linebacker as he goes to the ground. They throw the flag. They meet. They join. I think they instantly knew it was the wrong call. They instantly knew that by rule he didn't truly give himself up. And so the other officials come in, and you think they're going to wave off the flag, but they don't like to show up their guy, and he refuses to back down. He doesn't stand down, stands by his call because he doesn't want to be embarrassed. And sure as hell, there's the penalty. It's every freaking week in that league, man. No.
At what point will you stop watching?
I don't know, but I'm being tested for the first time ever. It's getting to that point. We can't play the damn game, man. Good God. Everybody knows especially that fragile bitch. He knows he's got to get down. What are we doing?
Yeah, the worst example I've ever seen of a targeting call came this weekend, Ohio State, Nebraska. It was a throw up the seam to a tight end. It was behind him. He has to adjust to the ball, and he's fumbling the ball in his hands trying to secure the catch. Just a bad throw. And as he's doing so, his body is coming down, and
he gets hit.
Well, yeah, he does, right in the helmet. But it's not the kid's fault, and you can see it clear as day. Sometimes it's a little close as to whether or not the defender made a decision to come and engage a player. Mm-hmm. You can see the angle the Ohio State defender chose to take, which was to the ribs,
right?
Because this throw was a full stretch. It was one of those he had to really break back on. A terrible throw, like I said before. He's got to break back on. And as he's fumbling the ball, he's falling to the ground and contorts his body to where it's at an angle instead of being straight up. And you can see where the safety is already committed to hitting the kid in the small of the back, something like that. And instead, the helmet gets in the way. They throw the flag, they review it. I mean,
and they uphold it.
This is a 100% review.
I'm telling you, man.
There's no way this is targeting if you use common football sense.
But they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't.
If a helmet hits a helmet, they just stick with it. And it doesn't matter what the intent was, the angle was, the process to get there, none of it.
And so Fox goes to Dean Blandino asking for an explanation of what the hell just happened. He goes, yeah, this is the tough thing about the rule is it's on the defender. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that's garbage. No, they have to consider this again. Look, I was for elevating rules that would eliminate the unnecessary hit. You know, a lot of that defenseless stuff that bothers people, I'm okay with. You don't need to be launching into some dude's neck when a ball's 40 feet over his head. Just don't do that. But we've taken it too far.
Can we agree on this, though, that the tucking of the arms, all right, to where you're creating a center of gravity that's just going to ravage someone and you're going to drop your shoulder into him, can we eliminate that? Can you just wrap? Do you have to tuck your arms in? Because we all know what that's doing. You're creating yourself into a battering ram
as long as you don't hit the head,
rather than a tackler.
But I don't care. Break their ribs. Doesn't matter. Just don't hit them in the head doing that. I don't care about that other stuff. Because that's also a danger. I've seen tons of guys do that, but by not wrapping, a bigger guy takes that hit and keeps running, and you look like an idiot. So that's fine. I mean, I'm all right with it. By the way, as an aside, Nathan Peterman threw 3 more picks, had to come in this weekend in that game against the Bears, who didn't move the ball at all. But
he started. Did he not?
Well, there was the concussion for Anderson, whatever it was.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was looking at the numbers today. It's unbelievable. The Bills are averaging 10.7 points per game. They are on track to become the 12th worst team in the history of the NFL. Over the past 6 games, they've scored 46 points total. They're averaging 7 points a game.
In this era.
They would become, they're on pace to become the lowest scoring squad in the history of the National Football League. In this era, people used to beat people 3-0. We're going to switch gears here and go over to Tallahassee Game Day Court Report. Let's talk some Florida State basketball. Stay with us, okay, kids?
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday Collegetown deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, and the 2019s are arriving every day, including the all-new 2019 Altima. Pick 6 Savings has almost cleared out the 2018 Altimas, but we still have a good selection of 2018 Rogues, Pathfinders, and Muranos that are all $6,000 off. All 2018 Sentras are $4,000 off, and we have over 40 to choose from. 2018 Versa S 5-speeds are $11,995, and 2018 Versa S Plus Automatics are $13,995. And we've extended the $10,000 off all 2018 Titan and Titan XD, regular cabs, extended cabs, crew cabs, gas or Cummins diesel. All 2018 Titans are $10,000 off, and we will give you $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade. That's $10,000 off all Titans and $2,000 over Kelly Blue Book for your trade, or a total of $12,000 in discounts on every Titan we sell. But you better hurry. The 2018s are going fast. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Prices include dealer preparation charge.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio. WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
And it's great to be with you, an extension of the Jeff Cameron Show. But for this year, a little something different where we get Tallahassee Game Day and Court Report, and we do it all in the name of Florida State basketball, which, of course, begins tonight. Now, we'll do this for selected schedule this season, make the final hour in some cases during the week of the Jeff Cameron Show. A de facto Tallahassee Game Day, and we look forward to doing it. Florida State basketball figures to be a factor once again in the ACC. It is now back-to-back seasons that the Noles have gone to the NCAA tournament. And, of course, this year begins on the heels of Florida State going to the Elite Eight. They were one win away from reaching the Final Four. And if you think about that, and you think about the fact that Phil Cofer comes back, although not playing tonight, and will miss some time before conference play begins because of an injury to a foot, his fifth year of eligibility and being granted that was huge for Florida State, I do believe. And if you think, too, that Florida State has its top two players from the team that last year made such a deep run and all of this experience, then you've got to be excited about the year. I know it's not too often in the recent past that we've been able to talk about Florida State entering a year in which they are ranked top 15 in one poll, top 17 in the other. Tonight's opponent, the Florida Gators, who come into the season unranked. That won't last long. This is an uber-talented Florida team, but they do have to learn to play together. They've got some pieces to the puzzle that we'll talk about here on the show that I think as the season goes along will allow for them to emerge in the SEC and become the team we're accustomed to seeing them. But right now, there's some unknowns and some things about playing together that not a lot of people realize. Michael Rogner does a really good job of covering this Florida State basketball team. Sometimes I find some stats there. I want to give credit where credit's due. I was looking this morning at a bunch of different things for the basketball preview throughout the country. And I noted that the University of Florida has more blue-chip players on their roster than any ACC team. That's a remarkable statistic. It's just hard to fathom that that's true. And Florida State comes into this game. Of course, we're missing the leading scorer on the team. So you would think on the surface this could be a problem, but in fact, I think it will take Andrew Nebhart some time to get adjusted and to play with his teammates. You may know him. He's the freshman stud that Florida has, and Team Argentina, if you will. You've probably seen some highlight reels of him. And Florida State does have the kind of length that bothers everybody, and this is his first college game. So he's one of many guys. We'll look more into Florida in a bit, but the big preview here is Florida State basketball returns tonight, 9 o'clock. Not an ideal tip, I got to be honest with you, Tom, but I have to admit the buzz, though, has me willing to stay up late for the start of college basketball. And, when you come off of a season in which you finish in the Elite Eight and you come into the season ranked in the top 15, it's an exciting time to be watching Florida State basketball.
Yeah, if it was West Sacramento State, I don't know that I'd stay up till 9 p.m. to watch Florida State live. I probably would tape the game and catch it first thing in the morning when I wake up. But it's Florida. And there's a streak on the line, buddy. And that's the thing about this rivalry, that if you go by program reputation, it would surprise you. But Florida State has won how many in a row?
Four in a row, looking to make it 5 times in a row. And, of course, they do it in a game in which it marks the earliest season opening contest between these two in school history. Now, they have met on numerous occasions in the first game of the season. In fact, as recently as 2001, 2002, it happened. But this will begin Florida State's home schedule for just the third time since the series began against the University of Florida during the season of 51-52 that this is the opener here in Tallahassee. So pretty exciting about that. And, I listen, it's a game that, oddly enough, rivalry as it is, you love streaks to continue, especially when they're against your rival. But in truth, we're learning about this team, and we're learning about some of the new pieces to this team. And really, the out-of-conference schedule, we talk about it all the time. Can you amass enough quality wins that if you have a stretch run in the ACC, which figures to happen in the most difficult conference in the country, in which you're not playing well, you can offset a 2 or 3 game losing streak. And this would be, I think, one of those kinds of wins that you hope to garner, because I believe as the year goes on, this will certainly be an RPI booster.
We talk about in football, it's tough to play the first weekend of the year against a top-flight opponent just because there's so much unknown year to year. Even if you have a veteran team coming back, first games of the season tend to be sloppy. So in this case, I think much the same. Florida State and Florida, 2 teams that are top 25 worthy. I know that Florida's not ranked at the moment, but if you bring up that many blue chippers, right, and that's how many you have in your program more than any other ACC team, you're as potent as it gets on any given night. So that's what Florida State is up against tonight without Phil Kofer. But in this circumstance for Florida State, you're right, this is really a fact-finding mission tonight. There are a lot of new players entering the fold, entering the rotation, some because Phil Kofer's minutes will be completely diminished through his injury, but also when you lose a guy like Brian Angola, who was integral in that rotation last year, and C.J. Walker was your backup point guard, so you're going to have to get some minutes there. You figure Trent Forrest is going to get more minutes. We can get into those blood and guts details, but for these first 2 or 3 weeks, I think we're all on the same level as Florida State fans. We're trying to take in, how do we play? How do we look? What's the rotation like? And who are these new faces? Who can we count on?
Yeah, specifically, I asked Leonard Hamilton in a previous interview a little over a week ago. We've had 2 so far in the offseason already with Leonard Hamilton. We hope to talk to him again at some point next week after this game, of course. But I asked, how do you replace a Brian Angola? Because a lot of people on the surface certainly look at all of the talent that returns and all of the starts that return and the points that return, and they think, okay, we'll be okay. We lose a guy here or there, we'll be okay. But Angola was an energy guy. He was a guy that provided such a spark for this team, and an intensity and a passion and a love for the game, for the sport, for the team, for his teammates, that those guys are oftentimes very difficult to replace. You can look at the stat sheet and say we've got the talent and the firepower to do it, but do you have the locker room guy? Do you have the guy that's sort of the glue that keeps it all together? I really felt like he was that guy both on and off the court, and so he'll be tough to replace. As for Florida State, we mentioned the Noles have won the last 4 matchups. That's the best winning streak in this annual rivalry that we've had in the series, of course. And the Noles, under Leonard Hamilton, 500 against the Gators. Leonard has had a knack for knocking off ranked Florida teams when Florida State was unranked, including in years in which Florida was arguably and, in fact, the best team in the country. So it's been interesting to watch how Leonard has coached it up for Florida State against Florida. It's the only time in Florida State University history that a coach has a non-losing record against Florida. That includes Florida State legend and Hugh Durham. Leonard Hamilton's the only one to ever do it over this stretch of time. So it's impressive, and hopefully tonight, above 500 and a streak that moves to 5.
Yeah, again, you could watch even these exhibition games that Florida State played in the last week and a half, and you can get an idea of what some of our younger players are like or transfers are like just in their skill sets. But you're playing a team like Florida out the gate. I wonder what Leonard's approach will be in terms of rotation. How many guys do you play tonight? Are you going to err towards 9 or 10, or do you want to play 6 or 7? And for how many minutes? Do you want to play big? Do you want to play small? There's just so much to learn tonight, and it's not going to teach you everything that you want to know about this team.
Never does early. The journey of a basketball season begins,
We're kind of used to building up towards about Thanksgiving before you get your first real test, and that's not so this year. I mean, it's right out the gate. So you'll get to learn more about Florida State after one game that counts than you normally would, and that's what we're going to see in, 3.5, 4 short hours?
Yeah, it's also weird that college basketball, let's just say it, it's the earliest date that the NCAA Division I college basketball season has ever started. And, at my age, at 47, we used to build towards basketball season starting after Thanksgiving, basically. Nobody really looked to college basketball at this late date before there was the glut of exempt tournaments and all that kind of stuff that goes on in November. It used to start the weekend after Thanksgiving, and I always thought that was perfect. In fact, it starts too early for my liking. But this year, it can't start soon enough. Given the circumstances in Tallahassee, I think this is a welcome respite from what we've been able to talk about for weeks and weeks and weeks on the gridiron. I think people are ready to turn their attention to college basketball. To some degree, I believe they were ready to turn their attention. I know this is probably a divided audience given our demo and success from 18 all the way to 65 and the kinds of people that listen to the program on a daily basis. But I think people were ready to turn their attention to the NBA. Just football around here right now, a tough go.
And I think it's probably because of that I walk into the TLC Double C tonight, a place where Florida State holds the best home record over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Not second best, not best in the ACC, best in the country. I mean, that's incredible. And I still have the mentality of, all right, let's just not get blown out. Can we have a good showing tonight? Because you lose 3 of your 4 top scorers year over year, some of your veteran leadership year over year. That's on the pessimistic side. On the optimistic side, I say, well, last year we lost before the season started Jonathan Isaac, Xavier Rattan-Mays, and Dwayne Bacon.
Yeah, you wouldn't have figured we were going to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, so basketball season, even no matter what happens in November and December, can bring you great joy at the end of the season, and you would never seem or think it possible. But I just want to sit back and enjoy the game tonight, and hopefully we get to see the fruits of a program that has really built into something that we can be proud of and be entertained by all at the same time.
Yeah, last year C.J. Walker had 17 points in this game. Of course, he's not on the team any longer. Phil Kofor had 10 points. He is not playing tonight due to injury. Brian Angola, the aforementioned Brian Angola, had 10 points and was 4 of 4 from the free throw line, had 5 boards to boot, and played a factor defensively. He's not on the team any longer. So you talk about the guys that you are not going to see out there tonight and the huge impact they had on this matchup just a year ago. But MJ Walker does return, and remember, before he had hit the wall, this was one of those times we saw a glimpse of something. He had 8 points last year. You thought, okay, this is going to be all right. And Terrence Mann, I want to celebrate all that is Terrence Mann coming into this season, because he's probably going to end his career at Florida State with the most games played for the Garnet and Gold, and a guy who last year we raised an eyebrow and said, what's going on with this guy? He doesn't look to be as effective as he's been in years past. Turns out, through much of the season, he was playing through nagging injuries. Late in the season and on into the postseason, he was playing with devastating injuries, actually. It's amazing that he was out on the floor at all, but lest we forget, the last time we saw Terrence Mann against the Gators, he dropped 25 points on him and was simply sensational with 8 boards, 2 steals, and 34 minutes of play. He was Mr. Everything in the game against the Gators a year ago.
I don't know that he had to be last year, but it figures that he might have to be this year. He and Trent Forrest, right? And if you look at some of his numbers as the season concluded, the number one thing that I want to see hopefully improve for Terrence is his free throw shooting. He was 65.5%. He can be better than that. If he is, then we're in business, because I think he's going to draw a lot of fouls this year. He's going to be more featured in the offense, certainly until we get in conference play, since Phil Kofor isn't available to hit the corner 3. So you would think we're going to attack the basket a little bit more. Terrence Mann played in 34 games last year, despite those injuries. He's an Iron Man. He's healthy finally. Yes, you're right. Let's appreciate what number 14 brings to the table.
If you're wondering, everybody, tonight's matchup, don't want to look too far ahead, but tonight's game against Florida, first game of the year. After that, Florida State doesn't play again until Sunday. That's this Sunday, November the 11th. That's 7 o'clock. Tom, maybe in the airport there in Chicago, we'll sit back, have a cold one before getting on that plane. The Noles will play against Tulane. It'll mark the first time that Florida State will play at the Green Wave since 1995. So it will be
You remember that game?
I do. But yeah. Yeah, but maybe not the specifics, but yeah, I can remember the matchup, sure. But anyhow, that's the deal there. Florida State, game number 1 tonight. It is, I'll ask this as we go to break. With the 9 o'clock tip, and I'm excited, but, here we sit in the 5 o'clock hour, and you're like, all right, I'm in pregame show mode, and it's fun, and I'm glad we're doing this, and I want to thank our sponsors for coming on board to do this, Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, Jerry's Cigar Shop, and Pockets Pool and Pub, amongst others, as they add to the ledger here. But I wonder what the crowd will be like tonight with election night. There's some exhaustion that goes into that. People working, getting to getting to the polls, doing what they can with that, and it's a weeknight to boot. Kids have school tomorrow. The reason I bring all this up is not to be a Debbie Downer, but typically in a game, your season opener against an arch rival whom you've got a 4-game win streak going against, and you just made the Elite Eight, and you come into the season ranked inside the top 20, you would think this would be sort of a fever pitch celebration, coronation, if you will, for Florida State in the start of a new campaign. But I really wondered tonight, that built-in home court advantage that we've seen the program develop by winning the last 2 years, and you cited the numbers, most successful home team in the country. Will you have that on display tonight? What will this attendance be like? It's a guessing game. I'm not sure it's going to be great. Just again, the tip is awfully late. It is midweek on a night in which the elections are happening as well.
I wish there was an opportunity for the university to flip the bird to the TV networks and say, we're going to play the game when we want to play the game.
Yeah, play the game at 7.
You send the cameras if you want. But we're going to play this game, and we're ranked.
Well, go back to the Elite Eight, and you can maybe do that next year.
Right, exactly. I think the students will show up. I don't know about the rest of
I don't know how much faith I have in my students these days. I'm a little disappointed. The football season's been a disaster for them.
Bad, but students support a winner, and so I think students will show up. This is a winning program. I mean, this is one of the reasons you come to Florida State now. That's the cool thing here, is you win 26 games 2 years ago, lose in the second round of the NCAA tournament. You feel cheated. You kind of vindicate yourself last year for that because you beat the same Xavier team in the same place in the tournament.
Soundly,
that's right.
Well, I mean, in a way that certainly left no doubt. How about that?
In the final 10 minutes, you rally from as many as 12 down, I think it was.
That's what I mean. I mean, that last 10 minutes was a no, sir, not again, get you some.
Well, it was the discovery of being able to play on both ends of the court. And if that continues tonight, then you've got a combination of some, jaw-dropping moments on offense, some nice plays, and then some great sets where the clock is ticking down, 5-4-3. There's nothing like that the rush of the crowd as you defend in the half court for 30 full seconds. It's really awesome to watch. Hopefully we see a good balance of that tonight. You will need to if you're going to be able to beat Florida.
Opening month in November is kind of light, but you do have tournaments to boot, and later in the month, very late, just after Thanksgiving, you do get a matchup against Purdue for the ACC Big Ten Challenge. So welcome in college basketball. Welcome back Florida State basketball. Should be an awful lot of fun. We'll continue on Tallahassee Game Day in a moment. 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're out at one of Tallahassee's many fine local establishments, find your native spirit.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
From the notebook of James Naismith to the halls of the Donald L. Tucker Center, the game of basketball has always been a Tallahassee fan favorite. The Seminole basketball team welcomes you the opportunity to become a bench warmer. You never know when your number's getting called. Fans now have the opportunity to purchase a $175 lower-level season ticket and sit in a different seat every game. You could sit courtside as the Noles host Duke, Florida, Notre Dame, Miami, and Louisville. It's the best thing since sliced bread, and all for only $175. Purchase your tickets and become a bench warmer. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
After a long day of being outdoors tailgating and watching football, what's more refreshing than a nice cold shake? After the game, stop by Grub Burger Bar and try one of their hand-spun, crafted, or spiked shakes. With flavors like Nutella, salted caramel, ET, and the kitchen sink, they are sure to quench any thirst. Show proof of your game experience and get a free non-spiked shake. Don't forget about Grub Burger's 2 daily happy hours: $5 margaritas, bottled and draft beers, signature cocktails, house wines, and spiked shakes. Head to Grub Burger after the game, 3425 Thomasville Road.
At San Miguel Mexican Restaurant, they take pride in their authentic Mexican cuisine. Over 25 lunch specials under $8 available daily. Come and enjoy their food with great company, an old-fashioned rustic Mexican setting, and a cold cerveza. San Miguel, 2020 Tharp Street.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This football season, cater your tailgate with Guthrie's. Guthrie's is a family-owned and operated restaurant that has been proudly in business for over 50 years. Since 1978, everybody has been falling hard for those golden fried chicken fingers, crispy fries, buttery Texas toast, creamy coleslaw, sweet tea, and of course, the signature sauce. Guthrie's is perfect for a school night dinner, tailgate party, or both. 2 Tallahassee locations, North Monroe Street or 1818 West Tennessee. Guthrie's Chicken, creator of the original chicken finger box and sauce.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
Tallahassee Game Day Court Report is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Shop where the pros and do-it-yourselfers shop. Online at ctf.com.
Tallahassee Game Day Court Report. Good to be with you. Let's go behind enemy lines for tonight's matchup. Behind enemy lines is brought to you by the law office of Jose Fernandez, where they don't get paid until you do. The law office of Jose Fernandez, offices Tallahassee and Miami. You look at Florida, again, coming into the season, rather surprisingly, unranked. You look at the projected starters for the Gators tonight, and Keith Stone, Kavarius Hayes, by the way, respectively, junior-senior combo there. They got the super freshman and Andrew Nembhard, who is a guy, excuse me, a guy a lot of people are excited to see play. Certainly Gator fans are, and I think those who keep a close eye on college basketball, saw him arrive at Florida and thought, well, the rich get richer because he is a really good basketball player, or figures to be. Jalen Hudson and Kayvon Allen, who is still there in his senior season. Seems like Kayvon Allen has been there for 20 years. He's really quick, as I recall.
Yeah, and you're right. This is one of those players where you go, him? I thought this is college, not professional.
Yeah, still there.
You don't have like an entry-level deal and then team control and then a second-level contract.
By the way, that lineup, if you're wondering, because size always matters in college basketball, 6'8", 6'9", 6'5", 6'6", 6'2". Certainly Florida State has the advantage every time they line up against a foe. They are pretty much the taller team, the longer team. You think about Florida State tonight with Kabengele and Kamaji and Forrest, Mann and Walker getting the start. You're looking at 6'10", 7'4", 6'4", 6'7", 6'5". So a lot of length there to run out at a guy like Nembhard, who will get chased around by a number of players tonight. For Florida, it's junior, senior, freshman, senior, so an experienced team. And if you're wondering about the points there, only the newcomer, of course, Nembhard doesn't have points per game statistics for his play yet, but averaging just over 8 is Stone, over 4 is Hayes, and over 15 a game for their star Jalen Hudson, as well as senior Kayvon Allen with 11 points per game.
So as I recall last year when Florida State trounced Florida in its own building for the 4th straight year that Florida State won this game.
Yes.
Neither team could really shoot the three.
By the way, that score
well.
was 83-66, Tom.
Neither team could shoot the three all that well. And Allen was actually leading the charge there. He and Kulikov. They were a combined 2 of 13. And I think, it's not as simple as it used to be for, say, the Duke Blue Devils back in the day when you were talking about a tournament run. Are they going to get to the Final Four? But I think the shooting beyond the arc, in this day and age, the way college basketball is played, the way the metrics demand college basketball to be played, obviously we embrace this too. It's as the three-point shot will go, so will go the Florida Gators tonight, especially when it comes to how big of a factor Kayvon Allen is. So what do we look like perimeter defensively against this group? And how do we size up against Florida? Without Kofor in the lineup, who's able to stretch out and stretch Florida in the half court on offense, and then who is going to help defend the perimeter as well? There's just a couple of big-time questions here. While Florida returns a lot of veterans, how exactly do we approach it? We have so many unknowns ourselves. I have a hard time figuring out how it's going to look, but one thing I do remember from last year is that we dominated the glass, and Florida did not shoot well from three. So let's see those things tonight and see if they go kind of down the same road or not.
Well, and it should be noted, their head coach, Mike White, has never beaten Florida State University. He has yet to register a victory against the Noles. He's probably thinking long and hard about the devastation that being 0-3 feels as he enters the game tonight.
Well, in last year's game, too.
I kid, but yeah.
Florida State, now Kofor had a big reason. He was a big part of this equation, but we had 23 offensive rebounds against the Gators last year, and Kofor had 6 of those.
Yeah, no.
So off of our misses, are we going to be able to generate second chances? Because we out-rebounded Florida 51-34.
Ton of experience on the floor in general for the two teams. We talk about the new kid for Florida, and that's what a lot of people are excited to see. But in truth, Kayvon Allen, Kavarius Hayes, 2 fourth-year seniors, Jalen Hudson returned to this basketball team, averaging 15.5 points per game. Of course, he tested the NBA waters in the spring, and so there's another guy. But add to that, Keith Stone is a guy that played a lot in the front court for Florida. Is a skilled scorer. He played in 26 games last year for them. They've had a lot of guys that are returning on this roster that come back and will play significant minutes for them tonight. So a lot of experience for both these teams.
Well, Jalen Hudson finished the season quite well for Florida in their losing effort to the 3-seed Texas Tech in the tournament. He had 23 points, 8 of 16 shooting, and he had 20 points in 3 of his last 5 games. And if you're looking for double-digit nights, he had double digits in all of his last – look at this, 9 games, 8 of his last 9 games except a game against Arkansas, in which he only played 25 minutes. So Jalen Hudson is somebody who was developing at the right time towards the end of the season, and that's exactly why he did test the NBA waters, and he's not afraid to shoot it from beyond the arc. So we'll see if he's a factor from that point as well.
All right, so to look at the Gators, who, by the way, I would love to end the streak, this streak, not the one you're thinking of. The Florida Gators have won 27 consecutive season openers. You aware of that?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be nice to go ahead and see that get snapped. Only 2 of those contests, by the way, have come on the road. One of them was against us in 2000. One was against Navy in 2015. So all of these games have been played at home, but 27 straight consecutive season opening victories for the University of Florida, which could come to a close tonight if we're able to protect the home court.
I guess that makes sense, but you would think they'd be playing in some of these tip-off tournaments, given how good the program has been.
They actually have, and they've won a lot of those.
A couple of Michigan State games or something along those lines.
I think they had a win in there at one point
against
Duke. Yeah, that's an amazing stat, right?
Let's just end it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. This has been Behind Enemy Lines. Again, brought to you by our friends at the law office of Jose Fernandez. We'll come back with more of Tallahassee Game Day's court report in a moment.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Text she sent me on Grasslands, which I filled in with the information.
Ology's going to tell theirs.
Ology will tell theirs. Proof.
We don't know what's going on with Deep. Try to call them real quick.
I don't have anything on him. Proof, I have they did a collab with Crooked. Well, they did a collab on 11/5 with Finback Brewery in New York, New York. That's going to be a fruited Berliner.
Who is this? This is Proof?
This is Proof.
Oh, okay. So you can do that one then? You've already written that down? Okay.
Yeah, I've written it in. I just didn't write it both ways. They did one on 11/6 today, Crooked Run Brewing in Sterling, Virginia. That's in Union.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what you want us to talk about on the show this week that you got going on this weekend? Anything in particular? Okay. Yeah, hey.
We are releasing our Upside Down, the coconut coffee and chocolate porter.
So good.
Hold on a second. Coconut, coffee, chocolate porter. What's the ABV?
It is 6.7.
Okay. Upside
and
Down.
that'll be in the tasting room on Friday and through the weekend.
Okay.
Tallahassee Game Day court report, and let's say this about Florida State. You mentioned the home record in the last two seasons as we get set for tonight's opener against the University of Florida. Florida State is 31-2 at the Donald L. Tucker Center, as I like to call it, the TLC-CC, much to the chagrin of this lady that sometimes bumps into our sales staff who says that I should not do that, that that's not the name of the arena. And I say, hey, lighten up, ma'am. It's all right. It gets grandfathered in on this show. Anyhow, 31-2 for a .939 win percentage is better than that of Duke at Cameron Indoor by a tick, as they are 30-2. North Carolina at the Dean Center, Kentucky at Rupp Arena, Michigan State at the Breslin Event Center. I mean, it's remarkable. Even Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse, because you remember a year ago, and it was a lot of fun for me last year filling in nationally on SiriusXM for a lot of days. That was the big topic, was Kansas struggling at home. Then they got hot and they won the Big 12 for the 500th year in a row. But they were really struggling to do that, and they are 29-5 at Allen Fieldhouse. So there it is. I think if you polled the diehard college basketball fan around the country and said, who would you name as having the top home court winning percentage of the last 2 seasons and the most, not just winning percentage, but the most wins, at home in college basketball over the last 2 years, yeah, they might say Duke. They might say North Carolina, Kentucky, Michigan State, Kansas. Those are all great guesses. The answer is Florida State. That is remarkable. Florida State has a combined 49 wins, 49-21 record in the last 2 seasons. That's an average of 24.5 wins over the last 2 years. That is a record pace for this university. The 3-year school record as we start the season tonight for wins in 70 seasons is remarkable. If you think about this, 70 games, I should say, 70 during the 2009, 2010, 2011 seasons. That's under Leonard Hamilton. During those years, the Noles won 70 games and played in the NCAA tournament each one of those seasons. Of the Noles' top 6 winningest 3-year spans, 4 have now come under Leonard Hamilton. Now, admittedly, he's been here for 17 seasons, this being his 17th season. So he's had some time to do it. But it is a very impressive run, and they got a chance to surpass that win total of 70 over the span of 3 years and set a new school record.
Interesting, because Leonard, when I first got here to school, it was January of 2006. So it was the back half of the 2005-2006 season. I remember the first event I went to as a Florida State undergrad was Florida State hosting Virginia Tech, and it was right around the New Year's holiday. And I think classes were starting either the next day or the day after that. But I met with a couple old friends from high school. I went to school up at Iona College, which does make the NCAA tournament, fairly often in the MAAC conference, the MAC up there. But Leonard was getting kind of old then. And here we are.
Yeah, he looks younger than he ever has.
He had been here a while, but he was kind of getting old. And in that sense, people were growing tired of Leonard because we weren't cashing in and going to the tournament then. And here we are, just 12 short years later, and he's built a program that looks completely different than the program he had built up around the year 2011, 2012. Isn't that crazy just to think about all of the time? I know a lot of people are lamenting that and saying, I wish we had made a change years ago. Well, how you liking this era right now, this chapter of Leonard Hamilton's saga at Florida State? I mean, we're winning 26 games one year, which is the most the program had won in eons. Undefeated at home in the 2016-2017 season. And then you follow that up by making the NCAA tournament again with the attrition that we had. And you go to the Elite Eight, all the while you're playing great offense. It's amazing to think the long-term picture of this program and how different it was just 6 or 7 seasons ago to where it is now. And we've succeeded doing 2 completely different things, philosophically speaking, in the way we recruit.
And it was a dangerous endeavor, and one that could have very well seen him lose his job here at Florida State, but it's one that ultimately proved to be successful, as noted by the numbers. And it's one that, frankly, on a personal note, I'm excited about, because Leonard is as good a coach and as good a man as we've had here leading young men within our programs as I have ever covered. And I've had the great privilege now of 20 years. I interviewed Leonard Hamilton the day he was hired for the job here at Florida State, and we had him on that afternoon. There have been a lot of great men that have rolled through here and walked that campus and been a part of that athletic department. He's not the only one. I'm not trying to say that at all. In fact, we've all been very fortunate to look out and see the likes of a Mike Martin and a Bobby Bowden, et cetera, and so many other guys that I think with pride we talk about leading our programs. But Leonard Hamilton is as good as any of those guys, as he cares deeply about the well-being and the lives of these kids. They stay out of trouble. And I know that you got to win games for all of this to matter, and he's doing that. But they don't get in trouble, and they do graduate. And he insists upon it. And moreover, he has a structure as a leader, a set of principles and rules in which he adheres no matter what, no matter the quality of player you are or are not. These are the rules. You will follow them. And if you do not, the consequences are laid out before you. And it does, again, not matter who we're playing and what kind of player you are. If you don't follow those rules, you don't play. And I've admired that in the wake of adversity and in the face of all of that, he has remained unwavering in the way that he goes about running a program and getting kids to graduate from the university and to represent the school with pride and dignity and certainly become better men because of it. It's also a wonderful ancillary benefit that several of them have now gone on to the NBA, increasing our profile in recruiting. And, of course, back-to-back seasons now of going to the NCAA tournament, including going to the Elite Eight last year. I just sometimes think at the start of every year that we're not exactly always cognizant of the difficulties that this program has in competing in the ACC. It's a matter of resources or lack thereof. It's a matter of funding or lack thereof. It's a matter of tradition or lack thereof. And yet, there we sit annually as a team in contention, usually at the midway to upper echelon of the ACC, which in a conference that is routinely referred to as the best conference in the country is remarkable to say.
Yeah, it really is. And if you think about the different rosters that we've had over those little points in time, when I first got here, you had 2-star bigs, and it was Alexander Johnson and Al Thornton. And then you had Zeke Swan and Jay Rich and those guys, too, that were on that team. And I think they got cheated out of the NCAA tournament one of those years, certainly when I was here at undergrad. But then you flash forward, Tony Douglas was here for a while and was an exceptional player. We got him. He was a transfer out of Auburn. But then those
Had
teams...
a nice NBA career.
He did, and he played for the Knicks, which was fun to watch. He was actually a teammate of Jeremy Lin during Linsanity.
Later on, got to be a teammate with LeBron James.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice story to tell your kids and grandkids, too, all the while you're collecting a check to change their lives forever, which is pretty amazing. But then you think about those teams in 2011 and 12 and how they were constructed. I mean, Derwin Kitchen was one of the key cogs in that wheel, and he was a project player.
One of the great success stories in Leonard Hamilton's career. He gets downright emotional talking about him because that kid had bounced around all over the country.
Yeah.
And really was not a candidate to be college eligible and to graduate and to have a career in basketball, and he's done all those.
And he's one of my favorite athletes I ever interviewed when I was on the beat. He was one of the best rebounding guards in Florida State history. But
sense of timing at the end of games was lacking. That's all.
You know, just if he was just a tenth of a second early on a couple of things, maybe we have an Elite Eight performance earlier to cite back to. But, you know, then you have Bernard James and Chris Singleton and
so many great stories.
Weird guys like John Kreft. Remember John Kreft?
Oh, of course I do.
But
I had a famed story.
You had a famed story about him that we won't use during a pregame show.
No.
But when you rolled him and he and Bernard James out there with Singleton, I mean, you had a group that could hold opponents' field goal percentage under 40%.
Oh,
and
ruthless.
Our
all
favorite
kinds of length
example
blocks,
is sweaty Thad Matta after the Ohio State game in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. I don't know what that final was, like 42-39 or some nonsense like that.
It was hideous.
But he is profusely sweating in a room that's conditioned to 68 degrees because of how hard he had to coach. And he said, these guys are exhausting. I mean, you could see it all over his face. He looked like he just did 5 years' worth of tax returns. He's in a puddle because of how good we are defensively. And that's the last thing we are right now. We discovered a defensive identity a little bit in the tournament last year, but we shoot the 3 ball. We get out in transition. We have lottery picks here at Florida State, one and done type players. It's just incredible to think over the span of time how different we've constructed things and literally how different the stories are of these kids. Now we're sending, in some cases, 19 and 20-year-olds on to their next job, where we had Bernard James, who's 26, 27 years old, before he even got a crack at professional sports.
Before we get to the game tonight at 9 o'clock, and as we wrap up this edition of Tallahassee Game Day Court Report in a moment, I want to go through some numbers that can be affected this year in terms of history, since we're talking about the history of the program and looking to make new history and I think at the end of the day provide another appearance in the NCAA tournament. Ultimately, that's the goal at the beginning of every year. But you've got some individuals as well as Coach Hamilton himself within reaching distance, perhaps, of surpassing some pretty significant numbers all time in both this program's history and ACC history. And so we'll do that here in a second on Tallahassee Game Day. On the first Tallahassee Game Day Court Report of the year. By the way, we'll do another one of these for big home games. We'll have a few of these throughout the course, selected games during the season. Our next one will be November the 28th when we host Purdue, when Florida State hosts Purdue. So thanks again to our sponsors, Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, Jerry Cigar Shop, and Pockets Pool and Pub. And thanks to all of you as we commandeered the final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show for this. And we'll do that for select basketball games this year.
Yeah, and we'll do some weekend shows that will be in addition, obviously, to what we do during the week. But if they fall on a weekday, we repurpose that 5 o'clock hour to talk all things basketball, which I think, as you said earlier, most everybody's ready for a bit of a break, even if it is just for an hour in November.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Leonard Hamilton and upcoming milestones as we enter the season. Of course, victories as an ACC coach, he has 305. If he gets 22 more, that's, you look at where he's at, he will have a magic number, 327. He will become the 7th winningest coach in ACC history. So he can't get 22 ACC wins this year, but he can certainly take a big bite out of this and going into next season, move into the top 7 all-time in this conference. That is rather remarkable. There are some other big numbers there when you look at regular season plus ACC tournament wins for ACC victory. He needs just 4 more to become the 7th winningest coach in ACC history, in ACC games specifically, passing Lefty Driesell of Maryland. Some big names that are on here. It's rather remarkable. He's had a number of significant wins against number 1 ranked teams in the land. For example, if he gets 3 more, he'll tie for first place in ACC history with Mike Krzyzewski and Gary Williams in wins against number 1 ranked teams in the ACC. Isn't that remarkable? Don't think he'll get 3 this year, but he'll get an opportunity against Duke probably.
You may get 2 cracks at it. Yeah.
Get a chance there. I bet you didn't know this. Now we get to some of the player numbers and where they sit on the all-time list. Chris Kumaji has 94 career blocks. He needs 7 more to reach 101. If he gets there, he'll move into the top 15 all-time in school history for career block shots, and he'll pass Xavier Gibson to do it, lest we forget. P.J. Savoy, not a name that we talk a lot about, but certainly critical to Florida State's success, knocking down the three-point shot. He's hit 90 in his career, 10 more to become a player in Florida State lore that now has 100 threes. Only 22 have ever done that in school's history. He'll move into the top 22 there. He would be a guy that I think would very well have a good shot at that. Terrence Mann, career steals. He needs 36 steals this season to move into a tie for 25th place for career steals with Doug Edwards and Michael Joyner. I saw Doug Edwards play. You did not. You saw Michael Joyner?
No, I did not.
2001 through 2004.
On TV, on TV, yes, but I mean not as a student.
100. He's got 900. He needs 100 to become the 47th player in terms of points in school history to have 1,000 or more career points. He would join. He would join a number of really talented players. 46. He'd be top 46 all time there. So it is pretty cool just to look at some of these all time numbers that Florida State's players are in range of. Have an opportunity to be in the all-time record.
Well, Terrence had 31 steals last year, so he should get that mark for the steals. But a question I have for you, as we're getting ready to, wait 3 more hours until we tip off this game.
I'm tailgating, baby.
Well,
here we go.
Maintain 3 hours before tip-off.
Maintain.
My goodness.
I early voted. I have no more responsibilities for the evening, sir. It is the start of college basketball, and in particular, a rivalry matchup for my squad. I am ready to go.
Okay, you wouldn't call it an accomplishment for Leonard Hamilton to put his job in jeopardy between the ACC championship run and obviously the run we're going right now. But more impressive, the ability to rebuild a program with a different face on it, even though it is his, the way we play is completely different, or getting Ryan Reed drafted in the NBA draft.
Well, there are a lot of interesting choices from executives in the NBA, so I think I'll choose the former. I think putting your job on the line, changing everything about what you do as a program, embracing that and going through the lull that accompanied that decision and never wavering and continuing to move forward, steely-eyed as he was, and now transforming this program to one where fans tonight have realistic expectations of winning 20-plus games, continuing the best home record in all of college basketball, finishing within the upper echelon of the ACC, and going back and trying to improve upon an Elite Eight run. That is remarkable and to be celebrated.
It should be, and it will be. With that said, percentage chance we win the game tonight. What do you think?
Geez. It's the first game of the year. I haven't seen Florida play. I haven't seen us play without Phil Kofer.
Vegas says we were a 4-point favorite to open yesterday.
Yeah, it's a coin flip, I think. I really do think it's a coin flip. I'll take the home court and the home court advantage, and I guess I'll pick us. But it's the first game of the year. You never really know what to get. It's going to take a while for both teams to gel with their lineups.
Yeah, I hope some of the kids. I heard Calipari talking about that today on SiriusXM, saying I don't want my kids playing like they will in March to start out the season. The whole point is growing.
You never really know what you're going to get here.
Yeah.
Every year at the start of college basketball, a team with high expectations starts incredibly slow, and we write them off, and they turn it around, they become elite. And teams that you thought would be surefire, best team in the country, will come out and they'll dominate, and you'll go, well, yeah, what we thought they were. And then there'll be somebody you thought was going to be bad, and you find out that grad transfer or whoever it is going to help change their fortune. So you just don't know early in the season. You got to get about 10 games under your belt.
2 letters and a word. MJ Walker. Need him to be big tonight.
Yeah, and defensively, I think you're talking about 3 guys running at this kid for Florida that is a real talent, and I think that's the area. Who's going to guard, and what does Andrew Nimhart look like tonight for Florida? The wonder kid, the blue chip that comes in. He's a guy that comes in at 6'5" with handles, and we've got length to match him. Should be an interesting matchup there. Good work, Tom Lang. Good work, Matthew. Thanks to our sponsors again, Cornerstone, Tool and Faster, Jerry's Cigar Shop, Pockets Pool. Thanks to all of you for listening. We'll see you over at the TLC Double C. Be well, everybody.